Okay. Can you see? Can all of you see the screen?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Let me show the view. All right. Okay. So now, this is quite an interesting subject, entrepreneurship and innovation. So, Vanilla, you already studied this, so maybe you can guide us, or give us a little bit of inputs, on the entrepreneurship. And a lot of things, actually, what we're going to study in entrepreneurship and innovation are a lot of common sense, okay. Like Raj, probably, you will know a lot of these things, because probably you have friends who are already entrepreneurs, or you yourself also are already an entrepreneur, so you've tried something. Have you done any business or any entrepreneurial thing, Raj, before?
You mean studies?
No, no study. You've done some a business, or what? You opened up a business, you tried something.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I'm doing the real estate properties as well.
Oh, okay. You have your own company?
No, I'm with another person, another friend.
Another friend, you share together, do this one.
Yeah.
Right. So real estate investment, is it?
Real estate, we buy and rent. We sell and rent.
Oh, okay. Sell and rent. So that's an enterprise. That's an entrepreneurial, what do you call it, venture, right? So, but you have a company and all that, your friend has a company.
Yes.
So you do it in a proper way, buying, selling, and all this kind of things, right? So that's an entrepreneur, How about Vanilla? You have any entrepreneurial experience?
No.
Have you started your own or anything like that? Maybe a tuition on your own, anything? Never done anything like that?
This tuition, yes. Doing tuition, part-time tuition.
Part-time tuition. In a way, you're also an entrepreneur. You're also an entrepreneur in that sense. Okay, so basically, we'll cover about entrepreneurship, what are the things, the qualities that the entrepreneur needs. Okay, so so this is your course. 120 hours is 12 weeks. Okay, final exam is 50%. Assignment is 60%. 40%. Final exam is 40%. Assignment is 60%. Right. So majority of your one is going to be an assignment. So I want your assignments to be proper, so at least you can score more marks in that. Exam, sometimes you do not know, how it's going to be. Sometimes they will give you high marks, sometimes they give you low. Yeah, all depends on how you understand the question, right? So that is the thing. Okay, so these are the topics that we will cover. We have a total of 11 topics. Have you all gone into this thing inside the PLS?
Not really.
Not really, is it?
Yeah.
I haven't gone into the PLS stuff. But have you downloaded the slides I've given you?
Yes.
You downloaded the slides. Okay, now whatever I've given you in the slides are actually from the PLS itself. I've just taken all the information for the PLS, collated the thing, compiled it, and given the whole entire thing to you. Right? So if you have difficulty in going through the PLS, you read through my notes that I've given. The slides, I think, should be quite okay, I would say. All right. So I understand. Sometimes you go through to read through the thing, it's a bit difficult. It's not like a book, online. You got to read and then you got to download, and things like that. Okay. What I'm doing is I'm trying to come up with a Google page, Google Classroom, so I can put all these in the Google Classroom and easier for you to read rather than going into the PLS. So I'm arranging that. So I'll show you that over tomorrow's class now, how to go and how to look at it. All right. So topic 1 will be introduction to entrepreneurship. We'll have an overview of what is an entrepreneur, what are the qualities of an entrepreneur, and we'll look at how entrepreneurs are motivating themselves. And then we look at entrepreneur competence. How can they be competent? The attitudes and behaviors. In topic 3, we look at the attitudes. Number 4, we look at the resources. What are the resources that the entrepreneur uses, and how do they get the resources? What are the things that they really need to look at? Okay, and the opportunity. Topic 5 will be on opportunity, right? And how do entrepreneurs look for opportunities? Sometimes you look at certain businesses that some people have done. You look at it and say, "Hey, why I never thought about it earlier?" It's so simple, isn't it? Such a simple idea. Why I never think about it? Is it? Why is it that he can see the opportunity, but I cannot see the opportunity? Have you ever come across that kind of thing?
Yes.
A simple idea. So how do they look at opportunities, and what do they do? And then second is evaluating opportunity. Not all opportunities actually can become a business. Something can be an opportunity, but it doesn't give you money. Right? It might not give you money, so that will be just a social concern only. So how do you evaluate opportunities? We're going to look at the different steps that we will do. Then chapter 7 is business plan. Okay, just now Vanilla was sharing with us about doing a business plan, right? What are the different components of a business plan? How does business plan help an entrepreneur? We look at it in more detail in chapter 7. Chapter 8 is on creativity and innovation. How do we be creative? 9 is the creativity is very important. As an entrepreneur, one of the most key point is creativity. When you look at companies like Apple, the core competence of that company is basically creativity. Okay, it's not really technology, but they are very creative in the way they do things. So that's why they are better. So business financing, chapter 9. One of the biggest challenges that as an entrepreneur you have is money. Do you agree with me, Raj?
Yes.
Especially businesses are new, they're like sponge.
Yeah.
You need to keep on pumping,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you don't know when you want to stop, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Have you tried businesses and failed before, Raj? Have you opened a business?
I actually went into a debt collection agency. I took over from my friend who passed away. So
Okay.
that one we were doing okay, but then I was not too keen in it, so I got out from it.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Exited, like you sold off the
Exited.
thing, right?
Yes, I sold out
it
my
off,
share because we used to work for banks,
Mm-mm.
do business for banks.
Okay. All right. So that's good. Which company was that?
Tasnim Sanjan Berhad.
Oh, because that day, yesterday I just went to one company, quite big, PA in Brickfields,
Oh, BA.
PA, they have a own building and all that. They've been doing it for many 18 years, I think,
Yeah.
So basically, so that's see, like you have exited from the particular business, is it? So
Yes.
that's you bought it, you build it up a little bit, and then you're not keen, and you came out of it,
Yeah.
So all these are experiences, right?
Yes.
Okay, so some of these things you can maybe share, what you want to, it's not a one way I'm talking, I want to learn from you also. There's some of the things that you all have done, which might be different from, what is being taught. So I would like you to give feedbacks, you talk to us. Okay, and then comes to financing, business financing. We look at different methods of financing. Okay, what is used now? We have looked at something like cloud funding. There's something new, cloud funding, is it? And different methods. We look at debt financing and equity financing. All right. And finally is business evaluation, control and debt capital, and finally is managing the growth. As the company grows, that is where the challenge is, right? Starting sometime a company is good, but when the company is growing, and that is where the challenges are. More people are coming into the business, and that is where you will have a lot of problems. So there is a different set of challenges that you need to do. So this is on managing the growth. Now, normally when companies start off, entrepreneur like Steve Jobs, when he first started off, only 2-3 of them only small businesses, but as they grow bigger, we find that when you look at his history of how Steve Jobs did, when you read the autobiography, you find that once they become bigger, he cannot manage, because entrepreneurs sometimes are not good managers. They're good in the idea, they've got a business idea, they're good in setting up the business, but managing, they're very bad in managing. Okay, and that is where the challenge lies in growing. Okay? So basically, this is what we're going to cover in the entire topics. All right. I'll see whether I can finish how much, maybe until 7, 8, then maybe tomorrow morning we cover a little bit of the other chapters. All right. Okay, let's start. Question, who are entrepreneurs? What is your idea? How do you define an entrepreneur? Who do you think is an entrepreneur? Just give me something. Doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be right in your mind. If somebody tell you, "Hey, I'm an entrepreneur," what is your image that you get in your mind? What's your perception?
Person who conducts business.
Somebody is doing business, all right. Okay, then anything else comes to your mind?
Any individual who organize, manage, and assume the risk of business.
Okay, so that's a definition you're giving, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So entrepreneurs are in your mind is somebody who runs a business.
Runs a business.
On trying something different. Okay. Name a few entrepreneurs you know. Vanilla, off your mind, off your cuff. Somebody. Could be a family, could be yourself, or, could be Nisha. She's also an entrepreneur, right? Isn't it? Actually, I'm looking forward to Nisha because she's really an entrepreneur, doing her own business and all that. So she will have some challenges that, maybe she could share. Tell me. Quickly in your mind. Don't know one fellow also in your mind.
Ananda Krishnan.
Okay, Ananda Krishnan, good. Some more? Who else?
Yo Tiong Lei.
YTL, yeah,
YTL.
yesterday.
All the big
He's
people.
passed away. Well, what happened? Your mind blank already. Tony Fernandez.
Tony
Okay.
Fernandez.
Tony
Right.
Fernandez. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, question. What's the difference between an entrepreneur and a small business owner? Just now you said entrepreneur is somebody who starts a business, right? Isn't it? So, what's the difference between an entrepreneur and a small business? For example, I open a restaurant, like, Kedai Mama, am I an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Why do you say yes? Why do you say no, Raj?
No, he's an entrepreneur because he's involved in business. He's involved in business.
Okay.
So that makes him an entrepreneur.
Okay. All right. How about Vanilla?
Well, I think because the person who runs a restaurant, it's also a business
Okay. All right.
Businessman.
Now,
field, right? Yeah.
yeah. Okay, you're right, because a person who takes a business and assumes risk. Okay, there's a risk there.
Yeah.
He's an entrepreneur. So basically, it's a very wide word, but today's entrepreneurs are a bit different, So we will look at some real definitions and examples of entrepreneurs. Right? Okay. Now, can you recognize this person? Who is this person?
Yes, this one,
Yeah.
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates, yeah.
Yeah, Bill Gates, right? Okay. How about this guy?
He's this one.
Oh, I'm not sure about his name, but
What is his name? He passed away, I think.
Yeah, he passed away. Come on, Vanilla, you don't know who this guy. Come on, man. You talk about entrepreneur, we're going to learn about all these guys.
Yeah.
All right.
He also was part of the Microsoft, right?
No,
Apple.
He's Apple. He's Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs.
Steve
He's
Jobs.
a,
Steve
he,
Jobs.
he was
Yes,
a founder of Apple. Right?
Apple, yeah.
Okay, and he's
Yeah, what is his name? I'm not sure. I
Steve
forgot.
Jobs. Steve Jobs, right?
Oh, Steve Jobs.
So, Apple computer, he started with Apple computer. He's a classic entrepreneur. Classic entrepreneur in the sense that he started with nothing, with zero, with an idea. Normally, you talk about entrepreneurs are those people who start with just a business idea, that's all. And people will laugh at them and say, oh, you're crazy. Are you going to do this kind of thing? And then they make it into a very huge thing. So this is the entrepreneurs, right? Okay. Who is this guy?
This one is the Virgin
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. Okay. All right. This one Vanilla, you should know lah.
Starting
Come on. Facebook. What's his name?
Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. He started the business when he was in the university itself, in the hostel, a few groups of them joined together, and they were just trying to build a network among friends, and that's the birth of Facebook. Yeah, and then today, Facebook is one of the biggest, organizations in the world, right? We'll look a little bit about Facebook later on. See, what I want in this entire lesson is I want to show some examples, right? A lot of things you can read, you can read from your textbook or you read from your PLS, but what you cannot know is sometimes is examples of how these people have done, So that is what I would like to bring into this classroom now, all right? This guy? You won't know him. This is Dell, Dell Computers, Michael Dell. He's the one who started Dell thing. He's an entrepreneur. Because see, his idea was a bit different. You see, instead of just selling computer to people, he thought about making it customized to different people. Because when he was in college, everybody came to him and said, Michael, can you make for me a laptop? I want this size, I want this hardware, I want this kind of thing, Then he do for them. Then he thought, hey, this is a good idea, There is an opportunity here, And he started the Dell computer, where you online itself, you can choose what parts you want, and then they'll manufacture for you. And within 1 week, they'll courier it to you. So they remove all the middlemen, and the prices are so much cheaper. And you don't keep stock. Only when your order comes in, then only you go and order it. So that was a business model that he developed. So these are all innovative people. Innovation means they come up with a new idea of doing things. It is already there, but they change it into something different. So like Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is nothing. It's just community. We were doing it, right? You have a family gathering and all that. We have those kind of connections that we had. But now what he did, he just put it in a way that is easier for people. So that is what they had done, like, right? This guy. Do you know who this guy is? Okay, you guys need to read a little bit more, like, remember I told you all that you need to listen to more of BFM, radios like that.
I can't
Read
see
more.
his face.
Huh? Oh, you can't see his face?
Because of the screen. I don't know how
Oh,
to.
is it? Cannot? How is it? Vanilla, can you see his face?
Yeah, I can.
Can. Now better, Raj? Can you see it?
No, hold on.
You need to move the.
Yeah, I do. Okay. Now I can.
All right.
I don't know who's the guy.
This guy is the richest man in the world now, He go up and down, like, as number one and number two.
What he
But now,
does?
Amazon. You know Amazon?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the guy who started Amazon. So we're going to look at his story, how he started off, and what did he do, what are the risks that he took, So we're going to look at that, like, Hi, Manjit. Hi, Manjit. How are you? Okay, let us get settled down, like, Okay, that's the richest man in the world. This guy you should know, like, now. He's very popular.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Jack Ma.
Jack Ma. Okay, the owner of Alibaba, the founder of Alibaba. This lady you won't know, lah. She's the richest woman in China. Richest woman in China.
Is it the Huawei group?
No, not the Huawei group.
Lens technology.
This lady, what she did was self-made, They watch lens technology. All our phones that we have, the glass, this thing, for iPhone, she's the one who makes. She just started as a factory worker, and then she thought of it one day and said, "Hey, why don't I do it myself?" A new idea, and started a small company, and then from there, slowly become a huge company, right? So this is the richest woman. Oh, these two guys.
I don't know them. I'm not sure.
They're the most popular people, actually. We do not know. These are the founders of Google.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Google.
Google. Sergey Brin and...
They're brothers, is it?
No, not. They were all same thing, studying in college together. And then they thought about, hey, at that time, they're using the search engines, the old ones, the Alta Vista and all that. And they're not so good, They said, hey, why don't we come up with a newer search engine, And they came up with an idea how to use that effectively. Okay, when they started this thing, nobody believed in them. And when Indian guy funded them, an Indian guy from US, in US, from India, you went to US and all that. He is the first fella who funded their thing, and they started Google. And today, Google is one of the biggest companies in the world. Okay, all right. Okay, this guy, we will see some videos about this guy. Can you see his face?
Yeah.
Okay. What is his name?
Okay.
His name is Elon Musk. Okay. So this guy is a very innovative fella. He had come up with a lot of new ideas like Tesla. Tesla, the car.
Yeah.
Right? Tesla, the car, and SpaceX. He's making rockets and all that to be sent to Mars. So a lot of innovation this guy. So he's a big entrepreneur. Right? And many more. So I just covered a little bit about all these entrepreneurs that you see around us. Now it's very important to read up in what's going on around. So sometimes I send you some information for you to read. What are the new technology, new innovations that are coming up. Okay, this is how Apple started. Two guys. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. Both of them together started this company in 1976, April 1st. They took a loan for 3,000 ringgit. Actually, the loan is from the father, And then in the garage, they open up the, what do you call this thing, and they developed the Apple computer. Do you want to know how the first Apple computer looked like?
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
You want to see how?
Yes.
Okay, this is the first Apple computer they sold.
Oh, last.
Like a typewriter.
It's
Oh,
just
the
like
first Apple computer.
First Apple. Made out of wood, It's made out of wood with the keyboard is like, what do you call, typewriter keyboard kind of thing, is it? And no monitor. There's no screen at all, is it? This is the first innovation, on Apple computer. So normally they connect it to the TV. They connect the TV and then they do all the programming and things like that. And this was sold for US 700 ringgit in 1976, It's 700 US dollars, so that's quite expensive, right? So this is how the first computer looked like. Malaysia entrepreneur, you know this guy?
Yes, he's Robert Koch.
Robert Koch is called the richest man in Malaysia, and yeah, so he's a sugar king, This one Tony
Tony
Fernandez,
Fernandez.
This is Uncle Lim Uncle Lim Gotong. This is Ananda.
Yeah.
Anand.
This is the richest Bhumi Putra.
Bukhairi.
Al-Bukhari. Al-Bukhari. All right, so this is the net worth of all these people. Number one, Robert Koch. Number two is Kwek Ling Chen. You know who's Kwek Ling Chen? Hong Leong.
Hong
Leong Bank, Hong Leong Property, Hong Leong Group. Number three is Ananda. Ananda has been there number three all along. Number four is Tan Si Teh Hyong Piao. You know who that is?
Public Bank.
Public Bank. Public Bank. Lee Shin Sing. Tan Si Dato Lee Shin Sing.
Lee Shin Sing is
palm oil.
IOI. I think he passed away, if I'm not mistaken, recently. Okay? And then Lim Kok Teh is Lim Gotong's son. Then your YTL is here.
Yeah,
but he passed away already, I think.
Yeah.
He also passed away. Then you have Lau Chu Kon. Okay, Lau Chu Kon. I think this is from Sarawak. Also palm oil. These two are Sarawak also. Tiong Hiu Hing is also from Sarawak. And then number 10 comes in is our only Bhumi Putra. So basically, this is our entrepreneur, the top entrepreneurs in Malaysia. Right? Nowadays, you have a lot of young entrepreneurs also, right? And these are all the older guys, young guys, who are making a lot of money and doing a lot of exciting things, okay? Like these people, Grab, okay? These are two fellows who started Grab, Andrew Tan and her name is also Tan, both of them, what they would do is they were studying in Harvard, When they're studying in Harvard, they thought about an idea. Hey, why don't I, come up with this? That time Uber was already there. Why don't we do it for taxi? And then they start up with Grab Taxi, My Taxi, Grab Taxi started off, and then now become Grab. So this is how they are started. So these are called startups, Have you heard this word startup before?
Yes.
Startup is a small company, it's a new venture. That means something new, which is not available. Like, for example, if I want to open up an insurance company, okay? Now, that is not a new venture. It's already been there for years, insurance company, right? So that is not a startup. A startup is something that is something new, a very new idea. For example, if I can start up a website or some business that you can purchase, or one look, you can see all the insurance companies' information there, and you can just buy from there. That's a startup, something new. Okay, people have not done something like that, so that's called a startup, right? So these are startups of people. Okay, so Grab is a startup because nobody has ever done something like that, something new, A lot of Malaysians who also have companies like this, Christy Ng, you want to make shoes, she does online, you can do it, Fashion Valet, Vivi Yusof. iFlix is also a Malaysian company, iFlix. Cowteam, and then Bukuku. Bukuku is, for example, for students who have difficulty in buying books and all that. You can rent the books.
Oh,
you can rent it to read, and then return it back. So this is it. So these are all new startups that are starting in Malaysia. So they're all young entrepreneurs who are trying their hands, different kind of businesses, right? Okay. Right. Now, what are the characteristics of entrepreneur? Vanilla, what do you think is the characteristic of entrepreneurs? Quickly, just some characteristic you think you can think of.
Good.
We looked at all these entrepreneurs, right? Isn't it? So tell me some characteristic you think is similar kind of thing that they have. Raj, maybe you can tell me what the characteristic of entrepreneurs.
They were all willing to take risks.
Very good. I think that's a key word.
Many
risks. Risk. Then some more? Any other characteristics? Vanilla?
Accounts, good accounts.
Good at what? Accounting.
Yeah, accounting.
Not really, I
Because
would say.
they need to like manage with accounts, right? So
No, that's why I said sometimes entrepreneurs are those guys who start the business. But running it, they're very good, very bad in probably managing and running it. They won't know accounts and all that. So that's why they hire people or they work with somebody else, right? A lot of account, like a lot of entrepreneurs that I have come across, even in Malaysia, local people, they don't know anything. All they have is just an idea. I want to make this happen. This is a very good idea, and then they engage somebody else inside, to help them to do other part of it, like right. But the key characters that they have, what is the key characters you think they have? One is we take risks, Someone, what else? Think of
mm,
think of Tony Fernandez. What does he have? What is different about him? Okay, let's look at Tony Fernandez now.
Strategy that they come out with different strategies to tap the market.
Yeah, but that is what they do. Character. Let's look at their character. How are they? They're very aggressive, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Very aggressive when they talk. They're very aggressive, and these are most of the entrepreneurs we know are those people when they talk, you listen. People will listen to you. They're there, and the most important thing is basically they have what vision. And another thing that you really need to know is they have passion.
I'm wondering what would be the single most valuable piece of advice you'd give us to even attempt to create some of the value that you guys have done in both your very impressive companies.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane. Right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Okay, did you hear the video just now? Were you able to watch the video? Okay, that's good. All right. So what is the key thing that he spoke about?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Someone, what else?
Passion.
Passion. I think the word there is passion, right? Isn't it? It's talking about passion, right? So the important thing is passion. He said that we need to have passion. Look at this lady there.
I'm Hui Ling. I'm one of Grab Taxi's co-founders. Co-founded Grab or My Taxi at that point in time, Anthony, back in BC. Right now, I focus on a lot of internal operations.
So this is another entrepreneur. It's a lady who started Grab Taxi, two of them together. She does a lot of operations and things like that. She also tells you that, what you really need to be an entrepreneur is passion. You really need to have passion. One more thing that we really need is a vision. These people are all visionaries. They're able to know they're able to look ahead in the future, what might happen. So as an entrepreneur, we need to have a vision. So that's another important thing that we need. Now let's look at Jack Ma. See what he says. Okay. Let me look at Jack. Let's look at Jack Ma.
okay.
Okay. Can you see the screen? Ken?
Yes.
Can see the screen now. Okay. What we looked at the characteristics of entrepreneurs, right? Now, what we look at characters is on top. We look at them as success. You look at Tony Fernandez. You say, "Wow, my God, that was a billionaire, a very successful guy." But what we don't see here is actually, at the bottom there, a lot of persistence, a lot of failures. A lot of time they fail. and then they do a lot of sacrifice. Most of them spend a lot of time from their away from the family, and focus on the work and things like traveling. A lot of time they're disappointed. A lot of projects they try, it doesn't work. What they are dedicated, hardworking. They work very hard, and they're very disciplined, and they are very always. So these are all the kind of things that they actually go through. These are all the characteristics and challenges that they go through. Okay, now let's start with this thing. Okay? Now, what we learn in the first chapter is you're going to look at who is an entrepreneur and the importance of an entrepreneur. We're going to look at 4 different types of entrepreneurs. There are 4 different types of entrepreneurs. And we're going to look at the major characteristics of successful entrepreneurs. And in order for you to start an enterprise, a business, the 4 steps. What are the 4 steps that are needed for you to start an enterprise? And we're going to look at how is it that entrepreneurs are motivated even when things are not going well. Okay, first, the definition of entrepreneur. Okay, an entrepreneur is somebody who creates new business. Somebody who creates a new business in the face of risk. Remember, we talked about risk and uncertainty for the purpose of achieving profit, growth by identifying opportunities. Now, these are the key things. They start a new business. Okay, normally in a new area, entrepreneurs are normally in a new area, and they have risk and they're uncertain of the future. And the purpose that they do the business is for profit or for growth. Okay, and they identify opportunity. They look at a certain area and look at an opportunity, and they use that opportunity and they open up a business. So this is how we do. There are a lot of definitions of entrepreneur. In your notes, you'll find that there are a lot of definitions, but this is one definition that I like because it clearly explains the whole entire characteristics of an entrepreneur. There are 4 types of entrepreneurs: opportunity, serial, parallel, and necessity. What do you think is the meaning of opportunity? What do you understand from here? Opportunity. Right, Raj?
They seize the opportunity.
They look at the opportunity and then they go into the business. They look at the opportunity and go into. Okay, for example, now during the COVID-19 pandemic, businesses were closed, shops are all closed. Now, who are the people making money at the time?
Grab.
Yeah, people like Grab, food delivery, they are the ones who are making a lot of money. All right. So basically, and other people look at it and say, hey, there's a good opportunity for us to make money. So I had a friend of mine, what he did was very simple. He thought, okay, why don't I supply to the whole entire condo area, all mama food, Mama doesn't deliver to the condo. So what he did was he put post up everywhere, and then what he did was he said, okay, I provide whatever food you want. You pay 3 ringgit or whatever to deliver it to you. People were scared to go out, He went to Mama and told him, you give me this thing at different discount price. And they said one ringgit 20 cent for roti chana, you got 1 ringgit from the Mama and for delivery, you'll get 3 ringgit, So he just started making money. Every day you make about 50 ringgit, just to go deliver around. No need to travel too far, Now these are all entrepreneurs, They look at the opportunity and then they say, bang, I want to go into it like opportunity, Serial entrepreneurs are those people who continuously have one opportunity, then they start out. Like what, Raj, you are in a way serial entrepreneur. You open a business and then after that you sold it off and then went to another one. Then you sold it off and went to another one. So these are all serial entrepreneurs. What do you think is parallel entrepreneur? Who do you think is a parallel entrepreneur? Parallel is similar to serial, but the thing is they run at the same time. They're running few companies, They're all on each one is an enterprise, and they're running it at the same time they're doing it. These are parallel entrepreneurs. Serial entrepreneurs are they open a business, they don't want to continue. After 1-2 years, they're fed up, they sell it off, go to another one, go to another one, go to another one, and then serial entrepreneurs. Some of them are parallel entrepreneurs. Some are necessity. What do you think is necessity? What do you mean by necessity entrepreneurs? Vanilla? Vanilla, you should be able to explain a lot. You studied already all these things, What necessity entrepreneurs? Due to the necessity, suddenly you're lay off already, no job. Your company is saying, so you think, hey, what can I do, So a group of friends join together, you open our own business, Not because you want to do the business, but because of necessity is there. You have to come up with an idea. So these are different types of entrepreneurs. I got more thing in your notes. You can go through it, right? And there's another new thing called social entrepreneur. Have you heard of these social entrepreneurs? Social entrepreneurs. Social entrepreneurs. There are a lot of social entrepreneurs. Social entrepreneurs are those who start a business just like an entrepreneur. Okay, but the focus is not profit. Is to help the society, help the environment, and that's called a social enterprise. Example will be like this. You heard of Grameen Bank in Bangladesh? Mohammed Yunus, he received the Nobel Prize. What he did was he started a bank for all the women in Bangladesh. All the farms in the kampong, they can borrow maybe $50 and buy a cow and do business like that. So you open up a bank, for these group of people. The purpose is not to make money, but the purpose is so that the money will be given to everybody and everybody can, build up on their own. So that is the Grameen Bank. Okay. Like for example, sometimes you go to a shopping center, you see some people selling all the handicraft made by Orang Asli. Have you seen that? Yeah, you've seen that, right?
Ladies.
For ladies and all that. Now, this is social enterprise. The idea is not to make a profit, but to help all the Orang Asli to have money. So they help them to sell all their handicrafts. Okay, of course, you have a certain amount of money and you give it for salary and things like that. So this is a social enterprise, right? So these are all social enterprise. Then there's another type of one called entrepreneurs. Entrepreneur is what? Entre is what? Outside. Intra means is what?
Inside.
Inside, yes.
Inside.
It means entrepreneurs inside the company, within the company. How can a company have entrepreneurs inside? How can it have? Okay. Now, this is a new idea that is happening now, So what companies are doing is, instead of letting your people go out and start their own business, what they do is they let them within the company, they give them some freedom to do their own work. For example, do you know this or not? What is this? What is this yellow thing? Post-it notes. You know the post-it notes? The post-it notes. Now, how the post-it notes was invented is like this, by a company called 3M. Now, 3M is a company, is a very innovative company. A lot of engineers inside there developing things all the time. So what they did was, there are a group of engineers inside there. They were supposed to make a strong glue, and what happened was they failed. They couldn't make a strong glue. Their glue is very not so good, you stick and then can come out like that, And what they did was they used this, to use it like a bookmark. One of the friend look at it and say, hey, this is a very good bookmark, good idea, this kind of thing, and that is how the post-it started. And when the bosses saw that, they told them, hey, you create your own idea, I will give you money. You don't need to leave the company, So inside the company itself, they are working, but when they develop new ideas, that the company gives them a certain part of their royalty. So this is called entrepreneur. They mean within the organization, they help them to grow within the organization, entrepreneurs. Okay, these are the guys that made the post-it notes, two friends. Okay, let's look at Jack Ma and see what he says about entrepreneurs.
Executive Chairman of Alibaba
Can you hear the video?
Jack Ma.
Look at what he says about entrepreneurs.
You should be optimistic, always optimistic. A great entrepreneur is optimistic for the future. And you have to ask what problem you can solve, how you solve it that different from the others, why you can do better than the others. You have to find a group of people working together with you. Those people believe the same vision. Those people coming to join you not because it's a job. It's because they believe the dream, they believe the mission, and they believe the vision. And don't have to find, there's no best people in the world. There's the best people is always working with you in your team. And train the team, work with the team, the team also will train you. Do not think what I will get. You have to ask what I will give. Should I win in 3 years or 10 years? If you have a great idea, prepare for 10 years. You're lucky if you win in 1 year. But most people will not have this opportunity. Don't say, I want to win next month. I will succeed next year. Impossible. Forget about it. If you think I will win this in 3 years, prepare for 5 years. My first round money I gathered from 18 founders, 50,000 US dollars. We thought this $50,000 can last for 10 months. We even count every cent we spent, but only lasted less than 4 months. We're almost bankrupt. When you know what you give up, then you will be able to get something. One of the reasons why we succeed 18 years ago, because internet was not hot at that time. E-commerce was so cold. Nobody believed it, but we believe it. We don't care what other people say. We think it has a future. We think it will help people. So we started. When everybody say yes, there's no chance for you. So be unique. Use your mind. Think why you can do better. Why you can do different. Why you can last for 10 years. While the other people can only last for 1 year. Don't wait for the environment to be ready. Don't wait for all the policy ready. When everything's ready, there's no opportunity for you. You have to move faster before the government take action. You know, if I do this, if the government say everything's ready, you should move to the other area because there's no chance for you.
Okay, you heard that right. Okay, so what are the key things you learned from here? Some few takeaway from this video.
Must be optimistic.
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 Yeah, be unique.
Unique. Yeah, some more.
Believe the vision.
Yeah, believe what vision you want to, right? Yes, some more. Raj?
Find people who can work with you.
Yes, find people who can work with you. Most of the time, it's people who are just there, you know, not from outside. Sometimes it's just within your thing itself, right? Come on, what else?
Never give
Never
up.
wait for chance.
Never wait
Sorry?
for chance. Yeah, interesting thing. You never wait until everything is ready, is it?
Yeah.
So when everything is ready, no opportunity. You see, always he says opportunity, you know, he talks about opportunity, is it? And where is the opportunity? Where is the opportunity? Remember, he said that, where is the opportunity?
It's all.
Okay. Opportunity is there when you have a problem. Okay. Opportunity is there when there's a problem where you have opportunities. That's what he said, right? So look at the problem and think of how I can solve this. How I can solve it better than somebody else. Somebody else is solving the problem, but how can I solve it in a better way? That is what the opportunity is like. So opportunity is where you make money. Okay. All right. All right. So now we're going to look at the aspects of entrepreneurship. There are 3 aspects. When you start a business, first of all, it's a creation process. I mean, you create the opportunity, you form the opportunity, you create the business. Then what you do is you spend time taking care of it in running the business. Then what you assume the risk, of the business, and then finally you get the reward. That's where you make the money. So these are the 4 aspects of the entrepreneurship line. Okay, creation, taking time and take the risk, and then finally you gain the rewards of it. Okay? So this is the key thing. Look, now these are some of the personalities that we have gone through. Okay, desire it to be in control. Most entrepreneurs always want to take control. They are like that, and they like moderate risk. They like to take risks. Okay, they like to take moderate risk. Optimistic. Remember, we said optimistic, right? Isn't it? Set a vision. They're able to have a vision. They want immediate feedback. That's the thing about entrepreneurs. They're like, I want now. I want to know what's the result now. Like they want immediate feedback. They are creative and innovative. Now, this is one of the important things that makes somebody different. Is creativity. High level of energy. You see the way he talks. Energy. Entrepreneurs have a high level. They keep on going. Don't know where they got the strength from. And they're future oriented. They don't think today. Remember what Jack Ma said. You think ahead. What other people cannot do. You're good at organizing. One thing about Jack Ma is you look at Jack Ma. He's one of the biggest. He's leader of one of the biggest IT companies in the world, right? Isn't it? Alibaba. But you know something. What was his job? What was he working as before? What is his background?
Teacher, is it? Is a teacher or a policeman? One of that.
Raj, guess. Huh?
He is a teacher or a teacher, I think.
Yes, you're right. He's a teacher. Is it? Vanilla, you're a teacher, is it?
Yeah.
He is a teacher, but why is it that he is being the best, what they call in the world, in the top this one line? He's not an IT guy. He don't know computer, nothing. He don't know programming, nothing. But how is he able to be there at the top, running a huge billion-dollar company, is an IT company? How? Because he's good at organizing. He know where to get people. He's got a vision, idea. He believe one day China is going to go into IT. We're going to be leading it. Think of this, and that is what he did. He went and got here and there. Even people like Jeff Bezos, Amazon, the boss of Amazon, he doesn't know IT. He doesn't know how to do programming, all these things. He doesn't know, But today he's the biggest, richest man in the world, or the thing, because why? He is good in getting the right people in. So that's the thing. They value achievement over money, high degree of commitment, and tolerance to ambiguity, flexibility, and tenacity. So these are all the characteristics and personalities of entrepreneurs. Okay, now this is the 4 steps of entrepreneur process. What are the 4 steps? Vanilla, can you read for me?
Identify and evaluate the opportunity.
Okay, stop. First of all, you must know the opportunity. Find the opportunity. And then evaluate and see whether this opportunity work or not. Second is what? Develop the business plan. The plan of how the business is going to work. Right? Then is the resources. Then you think of what are the resources that we need, and then finally you manage
the enterprise.
Right. Okay, so these are the 4 what you call steps that you need, Okay. Now let's look at identifying. How can you identify opportunities, right? That's the first key important thing, right? I'm sure it's in your mind. If you want to be an entrepreneur, how do you get to know what opportunity? How is opportunity like now? How do you identify? How do you identify opportunities? Rajita, maybe give me an idea. How do you know what opportunity is good for you? When you went into the business of debt collection, what was how do you identify the opportunity? That one, I think necessity maybe maybe your friend passed away, no choice, you have to take over, right? Isn't it?
You have to.
Okay. How do
you have to look at the target or target customers and all.
Customers, okay. All right. So how do you look at it and how do you identify it? There are a few ways you can get input from. For companies like you can get input from consumers, okay, customers, business associates. Your friend might tell you, hey, I think it's a very good business now. Medical thing is very good. You do gloves, you do this thing, it's going to be very good. So now you look at it and see there's an opportunity there. Okay? Channel members could be a partner, channel partners. For example, if you're supplying to your distributor, all the distributors sometimes can help you also. And then your technical staff also can tell you, boss, why don't we do this way? This is a good idea. So we identify opportunities from these are the different areas that we look at, right? Page down. Okay. Now, second is the evaluation. We look at identifying it. Second is evaluating. Evaluating is important because now you can get a lot of opportunities, okay? But then is opportunity going to help us to make money, So that's the key thing, So first of all, he has got the returns needed compared to resources. I mean, is it ROI? You heard of the ROI, right? Return on investment,
Yes.
I invest so much of money. Is it giving back me the return or not? So that's what you need to evaluate, And then the opportunity must fit the personal skill and goals of the entrepreneur. Now, sometimes the opportunity sounds very good, but then maybe that's not what you want, right? Isn't it? That is not what you want, is it? So somebody came and told me, hey, now somebody came and told me, okay, there's a good business, you grow arowana fish here and can make a lot of money in it, is it? You grow. Have you had somebody come and told you about that or not?
Yes.
They came and told me now arowana is a very big market. You grow arowana fish and all that, and then you can make good money out of it, So it is good. I have a friend of mine who took it up, So in his house, he's got a bungalow, and his house, how much of he went and bought a lot of aquariums, so many aquarium everywhere, He's just growing all the arowana fish when bite small, and then when it grow big on, he can make a lot of money out of it, is it? So he's making money, but for me, I don't think I'm interested in that. So it doesn't fit my personal skill and my goals that I want to, is it? So no point. So you must evaluate the opportunity. It can be looked like good, but then if you have to evaluate according to your own character, and what are the things you need to do and evaluate? First of all, look at the length of the opportunity. How long is it you want to get back your money? Is real and perceived value. Sometimes you have a real value and a perceived value. Perceived value means from outside it looks good, but really, maybe not good. Is it? Risk and return. What are the risks? When you grow fish, sure, the blood can die, isn't it? So that's a risk, and is it worth or not? Is it? And does it fit with your goals? And the last one is what? Unique advantage compared to the others. Whatever opportunity that you're doing, is it unique or not? Somebody can copy it or not, then it's not going to be this thing, is it? So that is also you need to look. So these are the areas you need to look when you're talking about evaluation. Okay. Now this is a list of questions. When somebody come to you and ask you, okay, Vanilla, got a good business deal, is it? Okay, you want to take part or not? Ask this question. What market does it fill? Okay. What personal observation or experience, and record from the market? What research data is there? Okay. So all these questions you ask, what are the competition? Okay, so these are the kind of questions that we need to ask as an entrepreneur. When somebody comes and gives you an entrepreneur, what do you call this thing? So these are all questions they'll ask you in the exam. I think that's one of the questions they asked last time is this: and how do you evaluate an opportunity that comes to you? Is it? You got to ask these questions, right? Okay. Now, second is a business plan, right? So now we will cover the business plan in chapter 7. So I'll not talk a lot about it. It's just a plan for your business. A business plan is something, it's a document that you write it down. From the idea that you have, somebody give you an opportunity, you write it down, it's called a business plan, right? Okay. Now, next is resources. Once you already got the idea, opportunity ready, okay, then you got the plan down ready. What do you need now? You need to start the business, right? Isn't it? You already got the plan. You need to start. What are the resources you need to do the business?
Manpower.
Right? What resources you need?
Manpower.
Manpower, yes. Yes. Money. Okay, you need money, all right, and you need maybe location, places to do, and then you need networks, sometimes connections. So all are the things, resources that we need, right? You need to get suppliers, right? The right supplier for you, and the right people to market your product for you, or distributors for your particular product, So these are the main things that we need, and then, okay, determine the resources. You must know how to acquire the resources, different suppliers, how to structure the deal, negotiate at a cheaper price, So these are the what you call key areas of resources that we need, all right? And then finally is what? Managing the enterprise, okay? When you talk about managing enterprise, it's basically implementing the business plan. What plan you have, now you're implementing it. And you will have a lot of operational issues, okay? Now, you look at some entrepreneurs have difficulty in managing the ventures they created, Now, a lot of times what happens is when the business starts off, they're very good, But when the business is growing, that you really need to manage the people, they have difficulty. For example, Steve Jobs is a very powerful entrepreneur, right? Apple guy. But do you know, when the business started growing, they started recruiting people, he started kicking people, scolding people. His style is such he'll go and fire you, you come to your thing, you make something wrong, he'll fire in front of you and he'll throw books at you, You come for meeting with him, something you don't like, you take the book and throw at you. Can you work in a kind of environment like this?
No.
No, definitely no, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
He's a very creative guy, very brilliant fellow, very this thing and all the ideas fantastic and all that, is it? But the workers, he get angry with you, just and scold you like nobody's business, is it? So he couldn't hold people, You need people. If you're growing your business, you need people, right? So what do you think he should do? What should he do? If you want the business to continue on, what should you do?
Learn how to manage them.
Yeah, but entrepreneurs, very difficult for them to change their thinking right? Isn't it? So do you know what they did was very simple. The shareholder, they told him, okay, Steve, you sit down, you take care of this part of it. I will hire managers to run the people. They mean, for example, idea you give, but putting the idea to the people and see whether done or not, we are professional managers, people who are trained on handling people, because we ultimately we look and see we are actually all in the people business, We are, whatever business you're selling or whatever product you're selling, we are in the people business. You're dealing with people like Raj, you go and meet people, you go talk to people, So you must know how to handle people, otherwise it's not going to grow. So what they did, they stopped him from doing that, and we hired managers to do it. So this is where the challenge is now. Now, how do they stay motivated? Now, during the COVID-19, a lot of entrepreneurs are going out of problems, have not enough money, there's a lot of challenges are there. Like, how do you think they stay motivated? How can they stay motivated? How do they motivate themselves, you think, Vanilla? Is it Tony Fernandez, for the last, how many months, all his planes were on the ground, they not moving at all. Not a single cent coming to the pocket, Imagine how you feel. Very frustrated, right? Isn't it? You can't make any money. You cannot do anything. You got all the ships all on the ground line, but they had to be motivated, thinking what to do, how to do. So they transformed their business. They came up with the new ideas and things like that, and that is what I think I shared with you all on the group also, like how Tony Bennett started a platform for vegetables, selling vegetables and farmers and all that. They can start off with a different platform. They started off. So these are the ways that they do to keep motivated, like, all right. Now we will look at this called a model of entrepreneurial motivation, How is it that what do you call entrepreneurs motivated? So this model was designed by the name is here, okay, by Douglas Neffler, What they did was they came up with a lot of entrepreneurs. They find out how are they able to motivate. They came up with this particular thing. Now there might be a question in your thing, saying that how do they motivate themselves, right? So what they found is basically PC is personal characteristics. Sometimes, in order to be an entrepreneur, you need to have your own character. Certain characteristics must be tough, You must be a tough person, Personal environment. It also depends on your environment. You come from a family, you come from a family, all entrepreneur, easy for you to be entrepreneur. Has you seen or not?
Yeah.
Like Chinese people, a lot of them are entrepreneurs. Why is it they easy to entrepreneur? Because the environment motivates them, Right. And then G is what? Personal goals, your vision, your goals, what you want to be. You want to be somebody successful, you want to help people. So all these things play a very important role in influencing a motivation of person to be an entrepreneur, And then BE is what? Business environment, the environment that you're in and ideas. So all these, to give you a decision to be an entrepreneur. Have you seen, like most Chinese people, they don't like to work with people, but they always think, I want to go out and do my own thing. And a lot of them, they don't mind doing their own thing because that is how they've been built up, their characteristics. And then they decide and they have a strategy. And come up with the strategy, and then the management and then the outcome. Now, if the outcome is not correct, then they go back and change. See, look at the expectation here, This is what they expect. They look at the expectation and the outcome, is it correct or not? What they see, and then they change accordingly. So this is what is a motivation of the an entrepreneur. It's called the model of entrepreneur motivation. Okay. You have more of this in your notes. You'll have, right? Okay. Elon Musk. I told you about this guy, right? Elon Musk. How he motivates himself. Let's look at this. How he motivates himself. He's in 1995. When he was a young boy, 18 years old, he opened up a company. He started a product called Zip2, right? And he sold it and made a few million. And PayPal, right? PayPal, when you make payment, right? 1999, he and another friend, they started off with PayPal. They are the one who discovered PayPal. After that, he sold PayPal to somebody else, and started SpaceX. SpaceX is a company. With the money that he made, he invested the money to make what you call rocket to go to space. He wanted to go to Mars, So that was his idea. Tesla is a car, which is today is more valuable than even the biggest automobile company in the world today is Toyota. And the value of Tesla is higher than Toyota. Imagine, and they make only 70,000 cars a year, you know. But where Tesla, it's going to make millions of cars, you know, but yet they are more valuable, is it? Because of the stock price. Solar City, Hyperloop, you know, OpenAI, and the Boring. These are the companies he's running. So this kind of guy is a parallel entrepreneur. Parallel means he's running few enterprises at the same time, is it? Right. So this is so let's look at him and what he says about, you know, motivation, you know. Why am I not able to move to another slide? Okay, listen to this.
While things are going really well these days, I think it's always important to remember that when you're creating a company, there are very dark times, and it's about getting through those dark times. That's the difference between success and failure.
Really focus on making a product that your customers love. And it's so rare that you can buy a product and you love the product when you bought it. There are very few things that fit into that category. And if you can come up with something like that, your business will be successful for sure.
The thing about being an entrepreneur is it's just all to you. You know, a lot of people like to make excuses. I don't have connections, I don't have money, I don't have this, but you know, if you find something that you like to do or love to do, be great at it and see if you turn it into a business. In worst case, you're going to have fun doing what it is you love to do. In best case, you can turn it into a business. I'm big on excuses. I just think if everybody has that opportunity to go for it, they just got to do it.
Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, Jack Welch, Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg, I know all of them. I would like to share with you that those people, the difference between those people and other people, they are always optimistic for the future. They never complain. They always try to solve the problems of the others. Where is the opportunity? The opportunity always lies in the place.
Okay, so he talks about opportunity lies in the problems. That's what Jack Ma says. You know, opportunity always lies in the problem. Okay, maybe we take a...
Well, people complain. Some people sit there complain. You think, if I can solve that complaint, that's the opportunity.
Okay. All right, we take a 5-minute break and move on. Now, let's continue. We just covered only the topic 1 only. But basically, topic 1 covers all the whole entire thing. So that's why I spent a little bit of time on topic 1. So the other topics, we just slowly, I'll touch all those important parts. Otherwise, you won't be able to finish the 3 or 4 hours that we have. Right? Okay, so we'll look at, in the last topic, what we did was we looked at now we will look at developing the competence, entrepreneur competence. Why are the slides not moving? Okay, we're going to learn about competitive advantage. You all know what is competitive advantage, right? Have you done strategic management before?
Yes.
You've done strategic management, right? Okay, so you know what is competitive advantage? Okay, competitive advantage is the advantage that you have over your competitors. Okay? Now, as an entrepreneur, if you want to start a new business, it should be something that you have something special over other people. Others are not able to do, what you're doing. So that's called competitive advantage. For example, you talk about property line. You talk about property, right? Okay. Now, like iProperty is actually what they're doing is nothing different. It's the same like what property agents are doing, right? Isn't it? But what they did was they be the link in between the customer and the property agent. They become one in between person, So they bring everybody all together in one platform. That's what they do. And that is what made them unique, from other people. Yeah, and that is why they become successful. Right? So it's very important you have an advantage over somebody else. Otherwise, it's difficult. And then you have something called core competency. Core competency is what you are good at. Okay, so every company is good in one particular thing. You see? So you cannot be like good in everything. You have to be focused on one particular thing that you're doing. Like, right? So core competency is what? What's your core competency? And from there, they can build into other areas. You see? For example, like yesterday, I told you I was talking to the PA and their core competency is collection. They are very good in debt collection. That's their main core competency. Is it? But now they are expanding into training and other different what they call subsidiaries. Opening up a subsidiary for training and other kind of things. Right? So that is their subsidiary. But the main core remains the same. Okay, that's the thing. So companies need to know what is your core competency, and you need to know what is your competitive advantage. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for you when you do a business. Okay? Okay, now we look at core competency. Okay, now how do you get your core what do you call competitive advantage as let's say you start a business. How do you get a core what do you call thing is basically this one: your resources that you have plus your capability becomes your reputation. That means the resources that you have. Maybe you've got very good staff, you got very good what do you call this thing, and then they're capable. Capable means you're able to use your skill properly, you see, and that becomes your reputation, and the reputation becomes your competitive advantage. You talk about iPhone. What is your competitive advantage? What is iPhone different from other people? What is why? How is the iPhone different from others? How about Vanilla, your brother? What's his name? I forgot.
Vendan.
Huh?
Vendan.
Yeah. How is iPhone different from others, Vendan? Tell me, share with me. Come closer, yeah.
iPhone is it has some features which are more safer to use compared to
other phones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the design is very cool and very nice, right? Isn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
That is a reputation. So if iPhone come up with any product or Apple come with any product, we already have a perception, oh, this must be good quality, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
And that is their competitive advantage, you see. That means they already have a reputation because of the resources and capability here. And when they launch something different, another new product that comes in, it's got a competitive advantage over others. Actually, they already have a very good reputation with their computer. And when they launch a handphone, they became a big success, is it? If anybody has launched a phone, Apple launched a phone in 2007. If any other company had launched a phone at that time with the same feature, won't be successful. Apple was successful because they already had a reputation, and that was your competitive advantage. So we build up a competitive advantage easier for you. So if you want to start a business or new enterprise, you must have a certain reputation, and that is how. So I say when you start a business, you have to have resources. Can be your staff, people. Oh, this guy has got good in this one, so it's easier for them to start a business line. They like that. So very important, reputation. Okay. Now entrepreneurs. Okay, now you talk about competitive advantage. It's no use just we have a competitive advantage, but it must be sustainable. Sustainable means you will be able to hold on for a longer timeline. It is not like for a while and then after that it's not anymore. For example, okay, sometimes when you start first, remember I told you about iProperty, right? Isn't it? Okay. Now when iProperty started off, they were the first company to have where you can buy online properties online, to what you can connect to this one. You don't need to jalan anywhere to go and see, Go into the website, you can see all the different property and who are the agents is easy for you. Okay. So that was the advantage, So there is a competitive advantage. But can they be the only one in the market? Now, do you have other companies like that? Do you have, Raj?
Yes.
Yeah, give me another example. Any other company that is like iProperty kind of thing?
They have this. Even Muda.com also you can advertise.
Which one?
Muda.com.
Muda. Then your Property Guru.
Property Guru, yes.
Guru. Yeah, right.
Yes.
See, so now they don't have any more advantage, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Right. they don't have the advantage that they had when they first started, is it? And this is called sustainable competitive advantage. You don't just have a competitive advantage, but it must be sustainable for a longer period, is it? So companies, what is the thing that difficult for them to attain is two things, the factors in the global economy, is it? Now the global economy is such that today it's not easy to have what they call sustain your what you have. And then the internet very fast. Today anybody want to open a business is very easy to the internet. These two factors have actually make it difficult for people to have a competitive advantage. Okay. Now question: what is the competitive advantage of AirAsia? You're talking about AirAsia. What is the competitive advantage of AirAsia? What is the uniqueness?
Cheap fares.
Cheap fares. Okay. Then some more. Okay, basically cheap fare was your competitive advantage, right? Isn't it? When you think of Asia, what come in your mind? Cheap fare. Everyone can fly, cheap fares, right? Isn't it? But today, are they cheapest? Are they the cheapest in the market?
Not really.
Not really, right? Isn't it? Because you even have Malindo, which is cheaper.
Malindo, yes.
Sometimes Malindo is cheaper, and then sometimes even that day, a few years ago, I went to Bangalore to see my friends. I found that I booked with AirAsia was like cost me about 4,000 for the whole family to go. Is it? But if I look into MAS, was only 2,000. Surprisingly, is it? So they are not the cheapest in the market, is it? But what do you call? How are they? So then, how are they able to maintain the competitive advantage? Remember, sustainable competitive advantage. How are they? How is Tony able to keep on maintaining the what do you call the competitive advantage? He add new things. For example, he added travel insurance. Then he add stay, hotel together. Is it? So if you book with AirAsia, your hotel also is cheap. So one shot is cheaper for you. Is it? So this is how what they do. They add in the competitive advantage. So by making it more sustainable by adding in other additional features. Is it? And after some time, other companies also catch up. So they come up with new idea. So it's important, in the what you call entrepreneur to be innovative, new ideas you have to come up with. But now even Malindo also offering hotel packages also got.
Yes.
So everybody will follow you on. Once you do something, people will follow you because it's not easy unless you cannot come in that line. So that's a challenge I have. Dell, I share with you. How about Starbucks? What's the competitive advantage of Starbucks? What makes Starbucks different?
Please.
What? The coffee is the same, right? I mean, you go to Coffee Bean also same. You go to even McDonald's also you can get coffee. But what makes it unique? Why people like to go sit down and pay $20 for a cup of coffee, 15 to $20 for a cup of coffee?
Free Wi-Fi.
Okay, free Wi-Fi at home. You have also free Wi-Fi. Why is it that it's just service? See? You like to sit down there, and then you like the thing, and then that's an environment that is what the company advice, and the service is very good, right? IKEA also a similar kind of thing, right? So these are companies that have what you call a competitive advantage. People cannot copy IKEA style because of the pricing, and the reason why is because of the way they pack their goods. That day I went and bought something from IKEA, the way they pack it is such a way so small, but then it can become a big cupboard, is it? So your shipping cost cheaper. So if somebody wants to copy your designer, it's going to be very difficult for them to do it, unless they really copy it and all this kind of thing. So they have copyright. IKEA does not manufacture any furniture, They only do the design, that's all. They don't do any manufacturing of any goods, only the design. And they ask other people to do the thing for them. And yet they're successful. Okay. Now, in order for a company to have competitive advantage to be sustainable, the rate of absolute, that means how fast your competitive advantage can disappear, is a factor important. Second, availability of substitute. If people don't take your thing, can they go somewhere else or not? If there are, then there's no advantage already. For example, instead of flying all the way to Singapore, can you take a bus or not? Can. So there are a lot of alternative, so it doesn't become a competitive advantage, But let's say, for example, flying to Jakarta, or taking a bus to Jakarta, no other way. Only way is to fly. Okay, so then no substitute, very less substitute for it, so it becomes a sustainable, And can it be copied? Imitability, can it be copied or not? If you think it can be copied, then it's not very going to be very easy for them to hold on to the competitive advantage. Okay, so these are some key, what do you call points like, okay, how do you build your competitive advantage? Where do you get your competitive advantage? Are these two things, two areas like, one is, value capabilities, rare capabilities, costly immediate capabilities, and non-sustainable capabilities. It means how valuable is the thing that you're having, and how rare is it? Rare means not easy, not everybody can get it, so that's rare. Is it? Costly to immediate. If somebody want to copy your old processor, is going to be very expensive, is it? And cannot be substituted with something else. So these are the criteria that determine what is your competitive advantage. Is it? And the next is the value chain. Value chain, you come across value chain, right? Isn't it? Do you know what is value chain? Now, if you look at any company, it can be divided into two different what do you call things. You've done this, right, Vanilla? Value chain, right? Okay. So we have two different what you call parts in any company, two activities. We call it the primary activities, and then we have something called the secondary activities. Primary activities are like this. So let's say primary activities. Where is my laser pointer? Primary activities are like this: inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, sales and marketing and services. Any company here, let's say for example, you're manufacturing some product, let's say, okay. For example, I'm manufacturing handphones, let's say, okay. The inbound logistics, they mean raw material is coming in. Then you have the operation where you manufacture the product. Then you have outbound. They mean after you manufacture, you send it out to your distributor, to the shop, to the retail outlet. Then you have sales and marketing, and then you have servicing. So these are what you call the primary activities of a company. Now, there is some other activity that support it, like administration, HR, product development, R&D, and procurement. So these are the ones that support. They are not the primary activity, they are the support activities. Now, primary activities are the ones that bring in the money into the company. Okay, these are the people who are supporting all the primary activities. Porters is porters from porters. What you found out that from here is where you can find out where you can have your what do you call competitive advantage. Either you can be competitive advantage in R&D. Maybe your R&D is so good. Because your R&D is very good, your operation is reduced. Because your operation is reduced, your profit margin is higher, is it? If you look at this, the value becomes more. I mean, your profit margin becomes higher because the time to do operation becomes lesser. Okay? And inbound logistics, you are able to make the process faster, the product cheaper. So the product becomes cheaper and your profit is also much more higher. So this is called a value chain analysis. Okay. Okay. When you talk about strategy, I think we covered this in my strategy class. There are three levels of strategy. One is called the corporate strategy, business strategy, and functional strategy. Three levels. Corporate strategy is the direction of a company. Where is the company going? So is it going to be growth strategy? So most of the companies, the corporate is done at the CEO level. The CEO design what are they want to do, and then in one company they'll have different businesses. For example, you take telecom. Okay, let's say you take telecom. Telecom has got so many subsidiary. One is a broadband subsidiary. One could be the the fixed phone subsidiary. The other one could be a mobile phone subsidiary. So different kind of organizations they have, subsidiary they have, and each one of them have their own strategy. Their own strategy they have, So like mobile phone, let's say for example, Unify. Unify is one of the subsidiary of TM, and for them, their competitor is different. They got to fight with Maxis, they got to fight with Maxis, Time. Okay, so these are the kind of competitors they have, So they need to have a different strategy in order for them to compete and to be number one in their industry. Third is a functional strategy. Functional means within any organization they have a different function. HR is one function, marketing is a function, accounting is a function, So what they do is each one of it works together. The functional strategy will support the business strategy. The business strategy will support ultimately the corporate strategy. So this is how the strategy flow down is in any organization. Okay. Now, in our strategy class, do you remember doing POTUS generic strategy? Do you remember that? Last semester, did we do strategic management? Did we do strategic management?
Yes.
Yes.
We did, right, isn't it?
Yes.
Just to refresh your memory on this slide. If you want to start a business, there are only three main strategies that you use. For example, you want to start an enterprise, either you can be the cost leader or you can be the differentiation. That means you can be different from everybody else, something unique, or you can focus. Focus on one area. There are three different ways of how you do a business. For example, you take AirAsia. Okay, when AirAsia first came into the market, you're thinking, what is my business strategy? What can I do? So where you think they are? Where you think they are in now? Are they different? Are they focused or are they cost leadership?
Differentiation.
They are different. Are they different?
Yes.
Okay, or are they cost? Cheapest from the market?
Cost and differentiation. Cost.
Okay, you see this chart here. You can have cost and focus can. You can have differentiation and focus also can. That means you can be a cost in a focus area. For example, AirAsia is a cost leader in the focus. They are focused on what? AirAsia is focused only on travel, only on the airline line. They're focused on that. They're not doing other things. Only on that they're doing. So they're focused as a leader in the cost. That's all. The cost. That's all. They want to be cheaper than everybody else. That's their strategy. Look at IKEA. IKEA is the same. They want to be cheap but focus on household goods. That is the thing. Now let's look at Apple, iPhone. What do you think is their strategy? What is their strategy? What was that?
Differentiation.
Yes, they are differentiation. They want to be different from everybody else. So that is what makes them unique, and that's your strategy. And when you are in differentiation strategy, you can actually charge higher. You see, the phones, like iPhones are very expensive, right? One phone costs you about 5,000 to 6,000 ringgit, isn't it true? Right? Why are they able to charge so high for their phones? It's basically because of one thing, one reason,
The features.
It's because they are different from everybody else. So that's the reason why they are they're able to charge more than others, okay, all right. So cost leader, focus. So there are three different strategies that companies can have. You can watch this video later on, and put us by generic strategies. All this is in your slides. All the videos are all in your slides. So that's why I'm not going through too detailed, just to touch on what is the thing. So what I want you all to do is the next couple of days, go through whatever. Or in fact, today, once you have finished the class, just go through the slides that I've given to give you a refresher of what are we talking about. Right? So these are all the strategy: cost leadership strategy, differentiation strategy, focus strategy, or focus, cost, focus, differentiation. There are 5 different ways in which you can run your strategy. Okay. Now, remember we're talking about a team. It's important to have the right team. Is it? Now look at Tony Fernandez. What he talks about getting the right team. Is it?
The key to AirAsia's success up to this point has been really having a very strong people culture, very strong human capital strategy. We have to keep reinventing those strategies and ensuring that we have the best people in this very competitive landscape.
The aviation industry can be turbulent, but how is human capital innovation a driving force in expanding and remaining competitive?
The key is to create an environment for innovation. And whether you have 250 people or 10,000 people, you have to allow people to take risks, not be scared to come out with ideas, no matter what level they are.
Well, we always encourage people to be innovative.
Uh-oh. Stuck again.
Encourage people to be innovative, which means pursue new ideas, try out new things. You may fail from time to time, but we don't really punish that kind of thing, because if we do that, then nobody will ever try anything new again. And the fact that we have always been doing things that surprise the market, that offer new things to the people, is a sign that internally we do have the right culture.
In our Asia, we are encouraged to think on our feet. I have learned to be more self-confident because every day it's a different experience, and that's what makes it so interesting.
Retaining and redefining human and job value is the case in every company. Business leaders must find ways to invest in retaining and developing people to move forward and upwards.
You've got to care for your people, you've got to communicate with your people at all levels, and you've got to allow them to dream and to innovate, to have vision, and to see their ideas implemented, and to make sure that they're recognized for their efforts.
So that is Asia. Why are they such an innovative company? Is because basically they spend a lot of time on training the staff, on innovation, and that's the reason why. Like, for example, Tony Fernandez says that anybody, want to be a pilot. So this lady, okay, I think she's from Thailand, I think, So she said she's an air hostess. She told Tony Fernandez, "I want to become a pilot." I say, "Okay, fine. Are you very serious?" Say, "Yes." He signed up for training, and today he's a pilot. She's a pilot. Tony Fernandez talks about this one boy from Sabah, I think, one Indian boy from Sabah. What he was doing is he was taking what you call bag, and his job was to load the bags. They load your bags and all that into the into the flight. That was his job. So Tony was one thing about Tony Fernandez is come down and see how his staff is working. So you talk to him, and then the boy said, "Tony, I want to be a pilot." So he said, "Are you really sure you want to be a pilot?" I say, "Yeah, I want to be a pilot." Okay, good. Then he sent him on his own expenses to the flight school, and he learned, and he failed. He did again, never gave up, did again, and then he passed. And today he is a pilot. That means what Tony says is anybody can dream and can achieve it. I was a dreamer. I believe I could do it, and that is the reason why. See, for example, when he was young, Tony Fernandez talked about a story. He said in his pencil box, and we know we have pencil box. There were 3 stickers. One sticker was of sticker of British Airways. The other one is of what do you call Tottenham Hotspur, football club. The other one was an F1 team, So people asked him, why is it you have these 3 stickers? He said, one day, I'm going to own these companies, in this businesses. And today he looked back and see, yes, he owns a football club. He owned the F1. He owned he started off an F1 team, and then he owns an airline. So he said that from a young age, I'm able to think and I dream and I can make it happen. I can definitely give this to my own staff, and that is why they're able to dream and to be very creative in their way they do. Whatever pandemic happens, you see they will turn around because their culture is such they'll think of ideas and ways in which how to move and change. No doubt they retrench a lot of people, a lot of pilots they retrench and all that. But soon you'll see they'll bounce back and they'll become more productive. Okay, like 2 days ago, there was a report on how Air Asia is going to be in a very bad situation. The sales are going to be down and they're going to be problem and all that. It came up. And then within 1 day, suddenly they got so what happened was the stock price dropped like crazy. And what the bank, this fellow did, what do you call, Bursa fellows did, they stopped the trading. Once they stopped the trading, the next day, news came out, the banks are joining together to give them a $1 billion loan, so that they can sustain, So immediately the stock price went up very high. So this is what they do. Just hold on. Let me shut this. It's raining already here. So this is what how creative they will be, right? So that's what makes them different. Google is another company. What they do in Google is basically they give you 20% of the time. What is that? I say 20? 20% of the time you can do your own work. That is how they have designed it. I mean, you're working for Google, you get a salary, you do your job, the boss is telling you, But at the same time, 20% of your time, you can use it for your own project. Some idea that you have, some crazy idea maybe, you want to do it, you can do your own thing, and a company don't mind giving you funding for that, And that's what, makes a company also very innovative, So very important. Okay. Now we looked at company advantage, we look at core competency, and we look at business level strategy, and then how the entrepreneurial management team plays a very important role in the entire success of the entrepreneur. Now let's look at attitudes and behavior. Okay, we're going to look at opportunity here. Remember, we talked about opportunity, right? The key thing is basically an entrepreneur is able to look at opportunity and identify opportunity better than anybody else. That's why he's become an entrepreneur. Sometimes you can have money, but then you have no idea. Because some people have money, some people got idea, but there's no money, right? Isn't it? Okay, so that's important. You need to know how to get the resources. Okay, now we can look at leadership style and leadership skills. Okay, let's jump in. Okay, now entrepreneurs have common attitude and behavior. We looked at some of what are the characters of Swan. They like to gain control of they like to manage small business because they want to gain control of their life, make a difference, become self-fulfilled. They want to make profit. They want to contribute to society, and they enjoy what they're doing. Most of the entrepreneurs actually they have fun. They're enjoying what they're doing. Yeah, they're working hard, but they really enjoy what they do, and that's what makes them totally a different kind of. Remember what you said. As an entrepreneur, you need to have what? Passion. Most important thing that you need to have passion. If you're not passionate about it, then you're not able to, be successful. Okay. You remember Elon Musk, right?
Elon Musk is a lot like the kid in the comic book whose fantasies turn into reality, but not as a magician. He did it as an engineer.
An engineer is the closest thing to a magician that exists in the real world.
Musk's fantasies and the companies they've inspired are transforming the way we live.
Like this guy is changing the world.
He founded his first company at age 23 and sold it a few years later for $300 million. He helped pave the way for online commerce.
With PayPal, his goal was to transform the financial industry.
He made solar energy affordable and jump-started the electric car industry.
We show that you can make compelling electric cars that people really want to buy.
And he's beating NASA to outer space.
Elon Musk goes a step further. Earth's not big enough. With SpaceX, he literally wants to go to Mars.
And he's still only 40.
I look to him with awe at the way in which he can see the future and make it manifest.
His greatest asset is his ability to take this big, big dream and make other people believe that it's true.
There have been setbacks.
We had maybe about a week's worth of cash in the bank, or less.
He saved the company in its darkest hour.
And yes, he's controversial.
This is just the religion of electric vehicles. And like Jonestown, that religion will come to an end.
Still, despite his critics, Musk has never been bashful about his own achievements.
Prius is a gas-guzzling hog by comparison with this car.
Yes, he's a media darling.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how sexy am I going to be if I buy this car?
11.
Here he is in the movie Iron Man. He was even the model for the movie's hero.
Yeah, good idea for an electric jet.
You do?
Yeah.
Then we'll make it work.
Don't get it, Bob. You complete me.
Elon Musk, okay. All right, so they're able to see opportunities when other people don't see, opportunities. Okay, so what is opportunity? Defined as a favorable set of circumstances that creates a need for new product, service, or idea. Okay. Now, there are two ways that opportunities come. One is internally stimulated. They mean from within us. When the entrepreneur decides to start a firm, and look for opportunity. Okay, that's one way. Next is externally, when you recognize a problem and then think of a way how to this thing. So two ways, one is internally. I mean, you as an entrepreneur, you think, okay, I want to start a business, and then you think of ideas what business to look at. Second, what happened? You see an opportunity, and then you say, okay, I want to open a business. First, you already open the business, then you look for opportunity. The second type is where you don't have a business yet, but you look at the opportunity and say, okay, I'm going to open up a business, and I want to look into that particular area. This is how Elon Musk is, You look and see that there are no electric cars on the road, I want to do this, so you open up a business. Then you look and see there's no thing going to Mars, so I want to build a spaceship going all the way to Mars. So you set up SpaceX. and they're doing a great job actually, you know. And so many times, even NASA is hiring the ships, right, to take it to space like that. So a lot of things that he has been doing. So these are two ways they start a firm. See? Okay. So the purpose, why they do that? Why are they? Because they do what they enjoy. Okay, and they want to make a difference. Remember what he said, you know, because he enjoys what he's doing, and then he wants to make people realize that, you know, it's totally different. You know, you want to make electric cars so that you want to save, you know, their planet, and they want to contribute to society. These are the reasons why entrepreneurs are doing what they do. You see, okay, this is all the same thing, like, you know. Okay, we looked at these characteristics of entrepreneurs. They're persistent, visionary, you know, they have teamwork. Okay, now let's look at Jeff Bezos, another entrepreneur. Remember, I told you he's the richest man in the world today, Amazon, the owner of Amazon. How he makes decisions, how is it that he's thinking, you know, and how he started, when he first started, you know, he is not a technical guy, you know, he is a financial guy. But how did he start, and what did he do, you know, and how he talked to his boss and all that? We're going to learn a little bit about how entrepreneurs operate.
I went to my boss and said to him, you know, I'm going to go do this crazy thing, and I'm going to start this this company selling books online. And this is something that I had already been talking to him about in a sort of more general context. But then he said, let's go on a walk. And we went on a 2-hour walk in Central Park in New York City. And the conclusion of that was this: he said, you know, this actually sounds like a really good idea to me, but it sounds like it would be a better idea for somebody who didn't already have a good job. And he convinced me to think about it for 48 hours before making a final decision. And so I went away and was trying to find the right framework in which to make that kind of big decision. And, you know, I'd already talked to my wife about this, and she was very supportive and said, look, you know, you can count me in 100%, whatever you want to do. You know, it's true, she had married this kind of, you know, fairly stable guy in a stable career path, and now he wanted to go do this crazy thing, but she was 100% supportive. So it really was a decision that I had to make for myself. And the framework I found, which made the decision incredibly easy, was what I called, which only a nerd would call, a regret minimization framework. So I wanted to project myself forward to age 80 and say, okay, now I'm looking back on my life. I want to have minimized the number of regrets I have. And you know, I knew that when I was 80, I was not going to regret having tried this. I was not going to regret having wanted, you know, trying to participate in this thing called the internet that I thought was going to be a really big deal. I knew that if I failed, I wouldn't regret that. But I knew the one thing I might regret is not ever having tried. And I knew that that would haunt me every day. And so when I thought about it that way, it was an incredibly easy decision. And I think that's a very good, it's if you can project yourself out to age 80 and sort of think, what will I think at that time? It gets you away from some of the daily pieces of confusion. You know, I left this Wall Street firm in the middle of the year. When you do that, you walk away from your annual bonus. And that's the kind of thing that in the short term can confuse you. But if you think about the long term, then you can really make good life decisions that you won't regret later.
Okay, so this is how he makes the decision, is it? He walked away from a good job. He was paid very high, you know, his salary of almost $1 million a year, is it? As a in Wall Street. But he walked away because he thought there is a future in internet, and he started selling books. People are laughing at him, and today he is the richest man in the world, is it? So this is how he looked at it, and you know, that's his character, you know. All right, coping is failure. Okay, now that's another attitude that entrepreneurs have, is it? They have more stable entrepreneur new entry, so they uncertainty and entrepreneur action, is it? Possibility entrepreneur experience will fail. For every 10, what do you call 10 enterprises that are starting up, only 2, according to research, has found only 2 of them are actually successful. Another 8 of them are failures. You know, a lot of people start up their business. Not all of them will be successful. Many of them fail. You know, right? So, and the thing is, most entrepreneurs, when they fail in one business, they jump they come and start something else. They keep on doing, something different all the time. See? Okay, these are the things that they feel. They feel grief, they feel symptom behavior, and but the important thing is how to handle failure. Let's look at Steve Jobs, what he says about handling failure. See? Yeah. The video is not playing. I don't know why the video is not playing. Okay. Now these are the steps that people go, entrepreneurs go through. You see? Let's say, for example, loss or into grief. First, when they are, this is a step-by-step process how they go. They come out of the. A lot of people today, you start a business and then fail, then after they say, I don't want to do business anymore. Isn't it true, right? But entrepreneurs, their spirit is such that they are very resilient. Once they, what you call, they fail, they're able to pull themselves out of their grief and able to come out and be a success in something else that they do. So they break the bonds of emotional bonds. They construct new account about the loss. They think about the loss and provide new the loss with the meaning. Why did I lose? See? And then they change the viewpoint of themselves with the world. They don't think of themselves as failure, but they think of the project as failed. They learn to regulate the emotion. Thoughts of the event no longer generate negative emotion, and then they come out of grief, and then they start another business. So this is what happens. When entrepreneurs are able to jump out of their grief and failure and come into another business venture. Okay. Resources. Remember, we looked at the resources. We can start a business, we can have an idea, an opportunity, but the important thing is you must know how do you want to get the resources and how do you manage resources. We looked at resources, and you say resources is money. Somehow it could be manpower. Okay, it could be what do you call? It could be raw materials that you have. That also is resources. Suppliers that you have also can be resources. So all these are resources. As an entrepreneur, one of the important things that we need to know is we need to know how to manage the kind of resources that we have today and minimize it. And you can own the kind of resources. Otherwise, if you don't own the resources, people are able to take control of whatever that you're using to produce your product today. Okay. So look at 6 types of resources and why some things work. Manpower, why is it some are successful, why some are not able to, and we look at networking. Networking also can be a what do you call a resource. Some people are good because they might not be able to do the work, but they've got very good connections, and networking plays a very important role in any entrepreneur. Any entrepreneur need to be network, all over. That's important, right? Okay, a resource is something that is quality and of useful, Okay, a resource-based theory states that the starting point of resource are creativity, uniqueness, entrepreneurial vision, intuition, and initial conditions. So these are when a new venture is starting, you need to have these. These are the resources that an entrepreneur need to have. You need to be creative, and they need to have a history, okay, of something that they've done. And you need to be unique, and you have to have vision and intuition. Only then you'll be able to move forward, or come up with a business venture. Okay. Now, this is how resources, you buy the resources cheap, you transform it, you implement the strategy, and you sell it more expensive, right? You buy a product, you transform the thing, and then you sell it more expensive. So this is how you look at how you use the resources. Okay. Identifying. Can you read the heading for me, Raj? I think it's
identifying attributes of strategic resources.
Okay. All right. Strategic resources. So when you look at a resource, you have to identify is it valuable. Valuable because they exploit some environmental opportunity. Okay. Is it rare? Because not enough. Other competitor cannot get so it should be rare. It's hard to copy. You cannot imitate that, and non-substitutable. You cannot substitute with something else. Like, for example, iron can be substituted with plastic, If something that cannot be substituted, then the value of the resource becomes higher, It's one valuable, rare, not many in the market, and it's hard to copy, not substitute. So that's what makes it more what you call a valuable resource. Okay. Some of the valuable resources: property, equipment, people, skill. All these are all some marketing, finance, accounting. All these are all resources for us. Like, okay? Now, people play a very important role. People also are important resources. See? So, because like for them, a company like Grab, you talk about Grab. Now, what is the resources that they have? What is the valuable thing about Grab? Today, the value of Grab, the Grab company itself, is about $7 billion US dollars. The value of the company, right? Maybank is only about 4 or 5 billion. They are more valuable than even Maybank. Now, Maybank has got a lot of assets, right? Properties and things like that they have. But this, how can Grab don't even own a single taxi? All the taxi doesn't belong to them. They're the largest taxi company in Malaysia, or in fact in the world also. But then they don't own anything. But what is the value? Why is it that they are valuable? What is the value of Grab? Where is the value?
The application, the app.
The apps, yes. And then the people, behind that, the marketing team that they have is value. The people, the engineering people, are developing all the apps and running it and maintaining it. That is where the value. So hiring the right people plays a very important role today. Look at Jack Ma, see what he says about hiring people.
Try to build a good team. What does a good team mean? The good team does not mean you hire excellent people from Harvard or from a multinational Fortune 500 countries or companies. I remember when we raised the first $5 million US, we think, now we have money from $50,000 to $5 million. So we should hire great people. We hired close to 10 excellent vice presidents for many multinational companies. One of the guys who are the marketing expert vice president of a big company, he gives me a business plan, a marketing plan, $12 million US. And I say, hey, we only have $5 million. How could you give me a business plan for next year's budget to marketing $12 million? He said, Jack, I never make any plan below $20 million. Hire the right people, not necessarily the best people. The best people is always you train them. There's no best people in the market. The best people for you is always you train yourself. So, as I say, if you hire the people who are very good, not suitable to you, it's just like you are putting a Boeing 747 engine into a poor tractor. Neither of them are happy. The engine is not happy, the poor tractor is not happy. So find the right people.
That's a good example that you're given. Right people. Okay. Okay. 6 type of resources: physical, reputational, physical resources, like for example, raw materials that you have. Maybe you can. So these are resources. Reputational, for example, iPhone. I told you about reputation that they build up with it. So that is important. That is a resource. Organizational means the structure. The way the whole entire organization is structured. Like Asia is structured in a very flat structure. If tomorrow there's a new strategy that comes in, it's very easy for them to implement it because of the organization structure. So that is a resource by itself. It's not very big, very hierarchical. It's very flat structure that they have. So they are very agile. They call it agile. Agile means you can turn around the company very easily. Today you're doing something, tomorrow you can do something else. So it's very easy. Financial, that is also a resource. Intellectual means your IP, intellectual property, or whatever products or your software that you have, all that are IP. That also can be a resource. Technological, like I told you, with Grab, they have a lot of very high-powered, engineers who design systems and all that. So that also is going to be a resource. So there are 6 types of resources that companies or entrepreneurs can draw on.
This is Facebook's office. We just moved in here about a couple of months ago at this point, and the thing that's notable about it is it's just this massive open floor plan. So here we can pan around and you can check it out. But basically, just for as long as you can see, people we work out in the open at desks, and the whole idea here is that by having an open floor plan where people work close to each other, it facilitates people sharing and communicating about what they're doing, which enables better collaboration, which we think is key to building the best services for our community. So we've worked like this for a long time, and it's been a pretty core way for how we do what we do here at Facebook. So here, I'm gonna take you on a quick tour. So this is actually my desk right here. It's everyone has a desk, even the people who are running the company. It's there's no kind of special offices or anything like that. Here's mine. I just have a bunch of books here. This is the book that I was just reading for my Year of Books challenge. I have all kinds of other stuff. Here's something that actually someone on our laser communications team wrote. This is his textbook. Here's just a bunch of interesting stuff. I mean, the folks who designed our updated logo, printed one out of wood. We have a model of a satellite that we're working on, and here's a model of the airplane that is going to be able to beam down internet access that we're working on. So all kinds of cool stuff here. Here, let's look over here. So this is the conference room that I actually spend a lot of my time in when I have meetings at Facebook. So here, let's come on in. At Facebook, no one has offices.
Nobody has. Everything is all open like that. So that's the way they are running the company. Look at AirAsia. Look at AirAsia's office. What do you notice about it? Wendan, what do you understand from here? Look at this.
It's very easy for everyone to communicate with each.
Yes, very easy to communicate with each other, and it fosters what collaboration, and that comes up with ideas. This is what the resource is, Why are they better than anybody else, than other airlines and things like that? Because very fast they come up with the idea. Within a short period of time, when they're doing the MCO, when they couldn't move, already they start a new business. Within 1 week, they already start their own business already. Another business they started, which is profitable. Something to bring in cash flow into the company. Why? Because collaboration. The people all are meeting together, they're all on Zoom, they're communicating and thinking of all others. So this develops ideas, and that's what actually is a bigger resource. So entrepreneurs basically need to look into that area also, right? Now, Google Office, okay, I show that. So Facebook actually at one time they were not really making money, in the beginning stages. Then they hired this lady called Sheryl Sandberg. Sheryl Sandberg is the one who started off the idea of advertising, and today their revenue is very high because of advertising. So she's the one who came up with the idea. So staff, when you hire somebody, they give you ideas, and that is what becomes a success for them. They build it basically as a free platform for people, and don't know what to do with it. She came and said, why don't you use this for advertising? And that became a very huge success, So hiring the right people plays a very important role, Okay.
I was the first. I know nothing about technology. I know nothing about management. I know nothing about. But the only thing is that you don't have to know a lot of things. You have to find the people who are smart than you are. For so many years, I always try to find the people who are smarter than I am. And when you find so many smart people, my job is to make sure the smart people can work it together. And then if smart people can work together, it's easier. The vision, they will believe. Because if stupid people can work together easily, smart people can never work together.
It's true, Smart people cannot work together, they always argue. So his job, he says, is to make sure that all the smart people sit down together and they work together, and they'll come up with what you call ideas, right? Okay, so that's the way. You see, look at how entrepreneurs are thinking. They think differently from what we think, and that's the reason why, without any background in IT, any background in management, he is running one of the biggest companies in China today, because he's able to bring all the smart people together in under one roof. Okay. All right. So we looked at resources in this chapter. Okay, let's look at the opportunity. All right. Now we looked at this in the beginning of the first chapter. Okay, identifying the and evaluate the opportunity, developing business plans. The first thing, let's look at the identifying the opportunity. How do we identify the opportunity? Okay, we're going to look at most entrepreneurs have started in two ways. We looked at it just now, right? Either the entrepreneur decide to start a firm, search for an opportunity, or they recognize a problem and then they think of how to open up a business to start it. So that's the kind of way you look at. One of my students in Johor Bahru, he started a company called what's a makan, something like dah makan lah, is it? Dah makan or something like that. Not dah makan. Go makan or something like that. He opened up a company similar to Grab, the food kind of concept, is it? So he looked at it and see how he came up with it. He look at the problem and say around his housing area, around this area, got no way for people to get food, is it? Then he thought about this. He say a lot of people in the house, especially Indians, they cook in the house. Mother and father, mothers are cooking in the house, and sometimes they can cook for more people. Okay, there are two or three in the family, they can cook for more people, is it? So what he thought is, how can there's a need in the market. People are really interested in home cooked food. Okay. And then there are ladies here who are cooking food, and maybe they want some extra money also, right? So what he did is he tried to match these two group of people, is it? People who are interested in home cooked food. And because, like in Johor Bahru, a lot of people are staying there, working, and hostel kind of thing, and where they don't have home, mothers are not there. So he matched these two group of people and then started a business, and it becomes so. That is what the second way, where you look at a problem and you think of a way how to fill in the gap. So that's why it becomes a success that way. All right. So there are two ways. Either you open a business and look for an opportunity, or you look at a problem and then or opportunity gap, and then you fill it, all right. Now, Airbnb. How did Airbnb start? Okay, Airbnb, you all know Airbnb, right? Isn't it? Airbnb started off with two friends, So these were guys who were studying in college together. So during that time, every year in that college, they have a big festival. A lot of people, seminar coming from all over the country here to attend that. And on those days, there is no room, no place to stay. So they were thinking, how is it that I can help people? So they have what you call the air mattress, the mattress angin one, the way they blow air into the thing. Have you seen that kind of a air mattress? And what they did was they advertised and said, okay, I don't have rooms, but I got mattresses that you all can come and sleep. So, and they were surprised, there are two or three people, they said, oh yeah, okay, there are no rooms in the hotels there. So it doesn't matter, we'll come and stay with you. You just provide us the air mattress. And that is how, then you look at it and say, hey, this is a big opportunity. There are a lot of people who got rooms empty and and they want to make money from here, and they match it together. So that's how Airbnb started. That's why the name Airbnb. Air is because of air mattress. They started the business with the air mattress. That's how the Airbnb comes in line. So we had to ask question as an entrepreneur: are competitors overlooking a niche in the market? If competitor, there's a niche in the market and competitor don't want to do it or not, and is there a better way to reach customer? Okay, this is the way that normally we customers are being reached. Is there a better way to reach customer? You think, is there a faster way to reach them? Can we develop a new product that offer better value? Or what opportunity available in the industry? So these are the questions that critical questions that entrepreneurs ask them, is it? Can we, have a better way of doing it? For example, you talk about Apple. They changed the way the music industry works, Today, do we buy CDs? Vendan. Oh, Vendan. Do you buy CD nowadays or not? CD.
I used to buy, but not
no more already, right? Isn't it?
No
I
more,
don't know when
yeah.
I bought long time. I haven't bought anything for years already. Why? Because everything you can download, right?
Yeah.
The people who changed the way that happened is Apple. Apple came up with the iPod. Remember the iPod? In the iPod, they said that you can put in 1,000 songs you can put inside in an iPod, and you can listen to it. So they really totally changed the way the people listen to music. No more buying CD already. Last week I read, the Speedy, the Speedy shop. the Speedy video. Have you heard of Speedy video? They ran video one last time. Remember Speedy, SPEDY, Speedy? It's one of the very famous thing, closing down. Because nobody is buying what? DVD anymore. Okay, nobody is buying DVD. Why? Because everything we can watch on the Netflix, right? So they change. So is there a better way to reach customer? Instead of asking them to buy DVD and CD, can they in some other way think? That's how you think, like, okay, why don't we give them an MP3? So they develop MP3. So this is how entrepreneurs ask question. How can I make it better? Is there an easier way to reach, better way to reach them, and what other opportunities are there? So these are the questions that critical questions that they ask, so they can develop new ideas and become more innovative. How Uber started? Uber started the same way. Now this is also a story of Uber.
One night, Camp and Kalanick were in a cab after a night out drinking in Paris. It was around 2 a.m. when the cabbie yelled at the group for being too boisterous and threatened to kick them out. Kalanick, infuriated by the disrespect, voluntarily got out of the cab. The incident stuck with him, and a scorned Travis Kalanick was now eager to work on Uber. That Parisian cabbie had just sparked the initial fire in a man who would go on to torch the entire taxi industry. So Camp and Kalanick got to work. Camp, who was inspired by James Bond, was determined to purchase a fleet of top-of-the-line Mercedes cars. Kalanick, however, disagreed with the idea of owning cars, and rather the drivers use their own cars in conjunction with the Uber app. At one point, Camp was so determined to buy the fleet of Mercedes cars that he called Kalanick and told him that he's going to lease out an entire parking lot in San Francisco.
He calls me, he's like, Travis, I've got the papers for the parking garage. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it, because I was just very against owning the assets, hiring the driver.
Camp finally gave in. So instead of buying dozens of flashy cars, they pitched the app to existing drivers of limos and luxury cabs. Years later, Uber's no-inventory business model would be valuated at $65 billion. Kalanick would then muse with pride.
Garrett brings the classy and elegance, like that's his part of it. Yeah. I bring the efficient. The value.
This move would go on to protect Uber from several regulations.
But Uber argues that it doesn't dispatch vehicles and the driver accepts or rejects the ride through an app.
Since they didn't own the cars and nor did they hire the drivers, Uber wasn't a taxi company. They were simply an app that connected people.
Okay, so basically this is the thing. They had a problem. They saw a problem that taxi fellas were too arrogant and too this thing, which we also feel like Malaysia. Remember at one time how the taxi guys used to be very arrogant, and then they think, why don't we start a system with Uber? And that is how we started. They look at the opportunity and say, okay, let us start the business. For example, when you go to China, you see a lot of bikes, right? Isn't it? Now that's another new industry, a new business that has started off.
Traffic jams have long been a problem in China's big cities like Beijing and Shanghai. Now, some Chinese entrepreneurs are hoping to turn that into a new business. Bike sharing. OFO Bicycle and Mobike are two of the major players competing to convince Chinese consumers to cycle instead of drive. Together, the two companies have a fleet of hundreds of thousands of bikes in Beijing and Shanghai. And unlike bike rentals in most cities, you can use your
Screen sharing stopped. Yeah, okay, so wait, got stuck. Like this night. Okay, so basically in China, they found an opportunity. People are using bikes a lot. And they found out there's a way to, monetize on that. And that is how the bike sharing became a success. Just a minute, my connection is not very stable. We looked at resources. We looked at bike sharing. Okay, we'll look at innovation. Okay, this opportunity. We're looking at opportunity. Okay, now sources of opportunity from within the industry. You can have it from within the industry. Like, for example, something unexpected happened. Then you think, oh, this is an opportunity. I can actually use that to, what do you call this thing? Is it? Incongruity. There is something that is not right. It's out of the thing. So that can be an opportunity. Is it? Inadequacy in the underlying process. How can I improve the process? When you improve the process, that becomes innovation, is it? Changes in the market structure, change industry, that also can become an innovation also. External can be demographic changes, demographic people, changes in perception can be brought by ups and downs of the economy, culture, fashion, all that are changes, things are changing, is it? And technology. These are the source of opportunity, where opportunity comes from. Okay. Now, you look at this story of Dyson, now, frustration with the existing product and service, that also could be what you call a source of the innovation. The Dyson's dual cyclone cleaner is developed because of frustration with the inadequate suction provided by existing vacuum cleaner when he was converting an old property. So when this guy Dyson, when he was using a vacuum cleaner, he found very inadequate, and he was very frustrated with the thing. So he thought, hey, why don't I develop one on my own? And he came up with an engineering idea, and he actually developed the Dyson, this thing, which is a very powerful vacuum cleaner. The idea of a vacuum cleaner. Okay. Actually, a lot of innovation can come in. A couple of days ago, I was watching a video. It talks about a boy in India. A boy in India. He's only, I think, about 12 or 13 years old. I think 15 years old, is it? He developed an aircon. Only this big, the aircon is only this big only, is it? And it only costs US $25, $25. Multiply that by 4 is how much? Like 100 plus, almost 150 ringgit, 150 ringgit. He made an aircon, and you don't need a lot of electricity to run it, and that's all. And you can, it's so cheap, and you can put it in any room, and within 10 minutes the room become cool. He developed that, and what happened was they took him to US, and they gave him a patent for the thing and all that, and they gave him education free. Let me get the video. I'll show it to you. The innovation. He thought about, what he did was very simple. He looked at it and said, how can I make it better? How can I change? So he took out an aircon and looked at the idea, how the aircon was designed, and he came up with a simpler method of doing it. And that was become a big, huge innovation. So this is also what I think. People look at it and see how poor countries like in India, poor places, they can't afford aircon, is it? And it's so hot. It was very hot. So you're thinking, I can't buy and afford an aircon. Why can't I think of a different way of doing it? Is it? And that's how innovation comes in. Okay. We looked at opportunity. We looked at what are the different sources of opportunity. Is it? One is internal. One is external. Okay. Three basic approaches, and how you look at the opportunity. Okay. Now we look at evaluating how we evaluate opportunity. Okay. Now, question: What's the difference between an idea and an opportunity? Vanilla? You've been very quiet, Vanilla. Oh, Vanilla, is she there? What's the difference between an idea and opportunity? The two words, right? Idea, opportunity. What do you think is the difference? What is idea? What is opportunity? You unmute yourself, lah. I can't hear you.
Opportunity means.
We looked at opportunity just now, right? Isn't it an opportunity?
Yeah,
idea?
you do something when idea is the way you think.
Okay,
to
good.
give the best. Yeah.
All right. Okay, you're right. Idea is something that you think, right? Isn't it? Idea is what you think. An opportunity is something that. So, idea is a thought or concept of person. It's a thought, an idea, is it? But an idea you cannot make money, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Idea really cannot make money. It's just an
But
idea.
opportunity you can make money.
A need, a want, a challenge that might be satisfied with a venture, a business, is it? Something that can be. So that's an opportunity, right? Okay, for example, idea is selling food. Okay, that's an idea, right? But an opportunity is, for example, you can have what do you call trucks, the food trucks. That's an opportunity, you see. So you think in your area or the factory area, there's no shops and all that, a food truck will be able to make a lot of money. So that's an opportunity. Okay, but having a food truck is an idea, but an opportunity is, there's something that can be made into a business.
Yeah, you're doing something.
Okay. A business requires more than just an idea. All right, an idea need to be changed into an opportunity. So that's where the thing is. Idea change into an opportunity, right? So you have to do some analysis. Okay, three components: industry, market analysis, product, and also financial. Whether we can make money. Is it? Now, the goal of a feasibility analysis is to determine whether an idea is viable. See the word viable. Viable means whether you can make money from it. You see, whether it can be monetized or not, right? So this is called the feasibility. Okay. All right. So okay. This is how you analyze what do you call this thing? Each one of the resources, capability, competitive advantage. Is it? How to do a feasibility. Now, earlier chapter, we looked at opportunity. Where can you get opportunity? How can you get up? We looked at a few companies like how they look at, like Uber, how they found the opportunity, how Airbnb found the opportunity. We looked at a few companies like that. Now, how do that opportunity, can become feasible? How do you evaluate? So in this chapter, we're looking at evaluation, different methods of doing feasibility in what do you call this thing? Is it? Three components. Remember, we looked at it: industry, the product feasibility, whether the industry is it suitable for the industry or not, or the market, is it? Whether the product is feasible or not. Okay, and then the financially, when you run it, can you make money or not? Is it? So that's the kind of a thing we got to look at. Is it? So three components: industry, financial, and also the product, whether the product is feasible to be sold.
We can't see the screen,
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I can see this.
Can't see the screen. I stop share and share again.
Okay.
Now can you see? Can, huh?
Yeah, can.
Can you see?
Yes, can.
Okay. So, okay. Now, when an opportunity is there, we want to analyze it. You must analyze in the three different ways. Okay. For example, maybe in Cheras area, there are a lot of factories, you're thinking, okay, there's an opportunity because not many shops there, so we can think of a way of how to, supply certain food to this kind of places. Is it? There's a money opportunity is there. So maybe you think, okay, if I can open up a truck, what food truck kind of a concept is it? Only for lunch, open the food truck, you can open up a food truck here, there, different places, then people can come and buy and tap out and go, is it? So that is a idea. So first of all, you must look at the industry and market. Is there a market for my product or not? So maybe where in Cheras area, all factory, maybe there is a market. So analyze and see whether is there a market. If I open a business, are there a lot of people going to come and buy the particular product or not? You do an analysis of the market, that area. See? Second is the product. Now the product that I'm going to sell, is it feasible or not? Maybe you want to sell a burger. Okay, now is what people want. Do they want burger for lunch or not? Is it? Or maybe they want maybe rice and mixed rice or just something like that they want to. So you look at the feasibility of the food. Third is financially. At the end of the day, I'm running this food truck business. Can I make money? Okay, the sales, and the cost that I have. I hire a staff. I would hire a truck. All these things is there. Is it? Am I going to make money from it or not? So there are three areas in which you must do analysis, when you have an opportunity, like industry, product, and financial. Three different areas. Okay. Another thing you need to look at, the competition, whether you are the only one doing or other competitors are coming in or not. So the industry that you need is, you can use the Buddhist five forces. Remember the Buddhist five forces? You look at the industry or the market and you look at five different areas, is it? Whether among the companies are there rivalry or new people can come in, or supplier can be a problem. If you're going to do let's say a truck business, a food truck, is there going to be a problem with supplier? Supplier not a problem, then it's okay. We can buy from so many suppliers. Don't have today, they don't give you the food, you can get from somebody else, and buyers, can they be a what do you call a threat for us or not? Okay, so do an analysis using the five forces. You all know about Buddhist five forces, right, Vanilla?
Yes.
Oh, Vanilla.
Yes, sir.
You know, right? You studied in Swan.
Yes,
Yeah, you know about Buddhist five forces, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot already. Now, remember, this is going to be very useful when you do analysis and all that, the Buddhist five forces, right? So look at that and go back again and have a look at the Buddhist five forces. We have done that earlier, okay? All right, so this is on evaluation, evaluation of the company, right? What happened? Finish it here. Wait a minute, what happened? Okay. 1 to 6. Let me go to chapter 7. Okay, until what time is our class?
Yeah.
What time is it? Normally, what time is our class?
1 to 4, I think.
1 to 4. I think we're going to finish it off. Okay, just give me a few more minutes to, what do you call, cover up. Are you getting chapter 7? Are you getting this? Are you getting this, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Business plan. Okay, let me end with this one. With chapter 7, we'll end up. Okay. We look looking at the business plan. How do you do a business plan? So remember, we looked at this. Okay. We always will go back to the earlier thing that we looked at. First of all, is identify a process of entrepreneur. Is it? First is identifying and evaluating the opportunities. The last two chapters we looked at how do you identify the opportunity, and then we looked at how you evaluate using the three areas, how you evaluate the opportunity. Is it? Now we're going to look at developing the business plan. Okay, so tomorrow we will look at resources and managing the enterprise. On these two areas we look at. Okay, now business plan. Now, what is a business plan? Okay, we're going to look at the business plan. Next slide. All right. Okay, we're going to look at what is a business plan. We're going to look at the scope or the value of a business plan, and what are the information that we need for a business plan and elements of a solid business plan. Okay, a business plan is a written document. It's a blueprint. Actually, it's a guide on how the project is going to take off. So that's the whole entire thing about business plan. All right. Now, the purpose, the information gathered from business plan is to predict the viability. Remember, the word viable means whether the business can take off or not, right? And whether we want to forecast the success and propose strategies for the project. Okay. Now, what is the business plan? So what I want you to do is watch this business plan and write down the 6 steps of a business plan. Can you do this, Vanilla? And right, in a business plan, what are the 6 steps of a business plan? Can you hear the audio? Can you hear?
Starting a business, then you'll need a plan, a roadmap, taking you on the straightest, fastest route to where you want to go. Your business plan will include 6 sections and will help you think through your business idea, making sure you've covered all the angles and eventualities before you set off. The first section is the executive summary, presenting an overview of your business. This section is vital as many investors make judgments about your business based on it alone. A great tip is to leave this section until last to write. Once you've written the others, you'll find it easier to do, as it will be a summary of the key points you make in other sections. So start with your business details. Provide a short description of who you are, what you plan to sell, why, and to whom. Include the location of your business, identify key employees, and any other qualities that make your business stand out. Now enter your marketing and sales strategy. Show that you've done your homework, that you understand your target market. Outline why you think people will buy what you want to sell, and detail how you plan to sell to them. Then add in your management team and personnel. People reading your plan need to believe and have trust in the management of your business. So outline your credentials and the people you plan to recruit. Then detail your setup, explaining what facilities the business will have, from your premises to your management information systems and IT, and explain how it will deliver the product or service to the customer. Lastly, list your financial plan and projections. This part translates everything you've said in the previous sections into numbers. It will tell you whether the business will be worthwhile or whether you're wasting your time and or money. Your business plan will change as your business grows. It will help keep you focused, so you'll know where you are and where you're supposed to be, so that you can correct your course as needed. Here are our 5 top tips. Keep it brief. If it takes too long to write, it'll take too long to read. Get rid of the fluff, cut the waffle, and just get to the point. Be realistic, be honest, and note all the challenges facing your business. Use visuals. Graphs, charts, and images can help bring your idea to life. And be creative so that your business stands out and grabs attention. And for a bit of extra help, download a business plan template from the Business Wales website. So there you have it. Plan your route to make sure you reach your destination.
Okay, so what are the different parts of a business plan? What's the first one?
What is a business plan?
What are the different parts of a business plan? First starts with the executive summary, okay? But when do you do the executive summary? When do you write it? When do you write it? You write it at the end, at the last. Okay? Once you've done everything, then only it's at the end. So you put it at the beginning, but you write it at the end, which means what you do is, before any business you start up, you have to have a business. So let's say somebody comes to you, Raj, and says, okay, let's say you got some money, and they come up with the idea, I think this business is very good, What you need to do is tell them very simple, okay? Look at the opportunity, analyze the opportunity, like what you did, evaluate, use all the questions that I asked you, evaluate the opportunity, see whether the opportunity is it worth or not, whether it's viable, whether we can make money, market got or not, whether you can make money, whether you have all these questions you ask. After you see, okay, looks like okay, next step is do a business plan. You ask a guy to come and do a business plan for you. So the business plan, from the business plan, you look and see, whether we can make money or not. So the first part of the business plan is called the executive summary, which is a 1 page or 2 pages maximum. Is a summary of the entire business, which will tell you what is the business all about, who's a customer market you're targeting, what is the market size, what is the product, what is your company, who are the people running this, who are the technical team, what is the special, unique selling proposition, I mean, what is your competitive advantage of this particular product, and finally, the last part will tell you a little bit about how much money that you're going to make on this thing, like all in 2 pages, that's all, right? Then after that is a more detailed step-by-step kind of thing. So executive summary is a snapshot, like you take a picture like that, a snapshot of the entire what you call project. Most of the time, this one is when you as an investor you won't read the whole business plan. You only read the executive summary. So the executive summary is written for the investor. Okay. Now question: who is this business plan for? You do a business plan for whom?
For the company.
Okay, for the company. Some more? Who else? Okay, you're right. We do it for the entrepreneur itself, for him to know what is his goal, what is he going to do. So the thing is for him as a guide, what you want to do. Someone next? Who else? Vanilla?
To the consumers, I mean to the new like a guidelines for new.
Yeah, come. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Right or wrong, tell me. Guideline for who? Guideline for the new staff, right?
Yeah,
okay,
new
staff
staff
coming. They know, what is the procedure, what's the goal and vision of the company, how the company is moving, and what's the kind of money they're going to make, That's also there. Good. Come on, what else? Who you think is targeted to? Raj?
The shareholders.
Shareholders, very good. It's for the shareholder to know, they are putting in the money. Shareholder means those fellows are putting in the money, right? So you're going to put in the money. You want to know who the hell is this guy? Is like, where is the direction that they're going? I'm not interested in running the business. I got money. I want to invest my money in the bank. Instead of putting my money in the bank, which gives me now 2%. I think 2% the interest rate has dropped, right? Isn't it? And it's going to drop some more. So instead of putting in the bank, might as well take and put the business. Maybe I can get a better what you call ROI. Is it? So I got 1 million ringgit in the. So I take out from the bank and I want to invest. I'm not interested in running the business. I want to know. Okay, these jokers have come and given me a business plan. Read through. I want to know whether I can make money. So I need a business plan. Okay, so investor. Come on, who else? Who else needs a business plan? There's business plan designed for whom? Come on, think. Who else? For the entrepreneur himself, for the company, that means for the staff, is it? Then for the investors, some more. Who else can ask for business plan? Think. The lender, the banks, right? Bank want to lend you money. They also the same like investor. They want to know, is this project viable? Whether they can get back their money or not? Okay, with interest. Banks are only interested in the interest. Okay, so they're not interested in running the company or what. They just want to get the interest. So whether they can make back the money, cover back their principal and the thing, that's all they want to know. Is it? So basically, these are the reason why a business plan is developed. Okay, so the purpose is to first of all to secure funding. In the initial stage, when they want to do an entrepreneur write a business plan because they want to get funding. They want to get funding. They want to go to investors. They want to get from banks. And next is for them to write a business plan to see whether is it really viable. Because sometimes you might have an idea. It could be a wild idea, you see. But once you put it in paper, then only you know. You see, like for example, Tony Fernandez told of the story here, how he started Air Asia. Actually, what he did was many years ago, he was the managing director of Warner Brothers in Malaysia. The music company, right? They're selling cassettes and CDs and all that. So he went to US for a meeting. He was very upset with the company and wanted to resign. So he went to US. He threw his resignation and said, "No, this guy said they want to go internet and this like that." So he is not happy. He said, "I'm resigning from the company." He had no job, resigned already. So he's coming back. He went to London, because I think he studied in London and all that. So he went to London for a couple of days. And then when he was sitting down there, he was sitting in the pub and he watched an advertisement for Ryanair, a company called Ryanair. So Ryanair is a budget airline. So they were doing, I think 10 pounds, from UK to France or something like that fly. Then you look at it and say, hey, that looks like a very good idea. Idea, remember? It's just an idea, okay? And then he look and say, is there an opportunity in Asia or not? Yeah, Asia, a lot of people got not enough money. Not many of them can travel, If we introduce this one, I think it's going to be good. So there was an opportunity. He looked at opportunity, but is that good enough? It's not going to give you money and, things like that, right? Isn't it? So what he did was, he called his wife and told her, okay, yeah, so what are you doing in London? When are you coming back? Yeah, I'm coming back. I'm going to open up a line now. He said, you're crazy. He said, like, are you crazy? He said, like, is it? So he said, yeah, sounds crazy, like, but that's the thing about entrepreneurs, once you start something, it hooks on to you, you cannot run away. You sleep, you think about it. You wake up in the morning, you think about it. And when you do that, when that happens to you, that means you're really passionate about it, right? So he came back to Malaysia, and then he came up and shared this idea with a few people, one is the Kamaruddin Swan, Dean, he calls him Dean. So he called him and then he said, I got this idea and things like that and all that. The people look at it and say, hey, it looks like a good idea. Then what they did was, the next step is what's the next step? Idea, opportunity, evaluation. Next is what? What are we doing now? This chapter is on what? Business plan. No, before you start the company, you must have a business plan, is it? Then only they did a business plan, they put it on paper. So he was an accountant, so he helped him in a business plan line, because the last part of the business plan, what is the last part?
Executive summary.
You wrote down the thing, right, Manila? What is the last part of the business plan?
Executive summary.
No. Executive summary is the first. You write first. You do it at the end, but you write it at the top. Financial plan, yes. The last part is a financial plan, is it? From the financial plan is where you know whether we are making money or not, in the business, is it? So he look at it and say, yeah, it looks like we can make money from here, and that is when they came up to. But in order for you to open an airline, you need license, right? Isn't it? You need license, and that's the thing in Malaysia. You cannot simply go tomorrow and then open up a company and say, I want to have an airline. You need to get the airline license, So what they did was, they had to go and meet up with the prime minister. So that time Mahathir was the prime minister, is it? So what they did was, he and Dean and a few other people, what they did, they had made appointment with PM, is it? So what happened was, they went to see PM. PM look at Mahathir was the PM. He look at it and say, he look at Tony Fernandes and say, you're the music guy, right? Isn't it? He said, yeah, we are the music people, but now we want to open airline. He said, oh, you want to open up an airline, budget airline, is it? So he presented the entire plan. They gave him the business plan, what you want to do, how you want to create a hub and things like that. Mahathir looked at it very carefully. He's a very brilliant man, until today. Yesterday was his birthday, I think, he is really brilliant. That's one thing. He's always steps, whatever can he be his fault, he's always steps ahead of people, You look at it and see, he said, there's a good potential for this business. Okay, very good. I support this, but he said, you need to get a license. Okay, and I'm not going to issue any license for airline license. Go and buy another company. He said, okay? Go and buy another airline. You buy over the airline. So then they were happy because, okay, fine. They agreed to the principle. But now they need to go look for an airline line. Okay? So what they did was, they went around and looked at all the different airline companies that are not doing so well. There was some company called Transmeal Airline. I don't know whether you heard of that. Then they have Berjaya Air. So the Berjaya Air, they look at it. So what they do is, before you really buy a business, what you do a due diligence. Due diligence means you get all the records, all the sales, all the profit and loss statements and all that, and analyze and see whether the company is really can be turned around or not. Can it be improved, and so they saw Berjaya and says totally useless, it's not making money, Then they came up with found another company called AirAsia also. It's called AirAsia, but it's belonged to DRB Highcom. DRB Highcom? They own Syed Mukhtar's company, they remember they own Proton and all that at that time. So they were loss making. And what he did was, he went there and he told these people, he called them up and say, my name is Tony Fernandes. I'm interested in buying your airline, And they were like, oh yeah, is it? Yeah, sure. When you want to come and see us, like they were ready to sell the airline, because they were making had a lot of loss and things like that. They didn't know what to do, so they wanted to sell the airline. So what they had was they had only one plane, and I think they got 8 staff. They had one plane and 8 staff. But what they did was they had a loan. They had a bank loan of 40 million. They owned the bank, 40 million ringgit, So Tony went and saw the thing and all that, and then they were think happy They say, "Oh, who is this idiot who wants to buy this company We are got 40 million in debt, and we got one aircraft, And who is this joker?" They wanted to see They saw them, and then Tony said, "Okay, fine." And he negotiated a deal. They bought it for $1. $1, They bought the company, Asia for $1, but of course you assume the loan, I mean 40 million you have to pay the thing. So what Tony Fernandez he refinanced his house, he sold off his properties and all that. I think he gathered about 1 million. They got some money here and there together and opened up Air Asia. They bought over the company Air Asia. Once they bought over the company, they went and had a good talk with the staff. The 8 staff there, and then they told them that no, we want to turn this company around into a global airline and number one in Asia. We want to be the leading low cost airline, charge cheap fares, And imagine what the staff would have thought, They look at this fellow and say, "This guy's gone bonkers, crazy already, I think I need to better look for another job quickly, This guy is gone crazy. Then I thought the new fellow bought over and do something, This fellow is gone mad, So they were also not sure what is happening, But what he said was, we had a passion. We really wanted to build and we wanted to grow, And that is how actually the story of Aisha came about, But what he did was, he was an accountant, and that really helped him. As an accountant, he analyzed the entire company. You see, what he did was, from the time the flight takes off and the lands, he analyzed every part of the company, every part of the thing. That means how long the park, how much cost is it? Once it's in the air, every minute it flies, how much cost is it? So all that cost he analyzed and find out which one has got the most highest cost, He found out that the parking is the highest. When you park the thing in the terminal, that is the highest thing. What they were doing normally, you remember when we take other airlines, they reach maybe Delhi, and one night they stay there, and then next day morning the flight goes off. Have you seen? That's how it is normally, right? Isn't it? So what he did was he eliminated it, because that's where the extra cost is. The staff charge, the hotel charge, all the parking charges. They found out that actually every minute you park in the airport, 1 minute they charge you 1,000 US, it seems. And that is what within 25 minutes, the flight is able to turn around, And that is how we look at it. So they look at their strategy was, they changed the strategy. 4 hours flight, that's all. Maximum 4 hours. From one end to another end, 4 hours flight. They look at draw where all is 4 hours, And then they mark, these are the places that we want to travel. They don't want to go further than that, So this changed the entire strategy. Okay, and that is part of the business plan, So when he drew up the business plan, he drew up all these strategies, and that is how it became to be a success. So a business plan plays a very important role, in the entire this thing. To turn an idea, an opportunity into a success, you need a very good business plan. Okay, so business plan basically, who reads the business plan? Investors, the bank, suppliers also read, sometimes customers read, all these are what you call supplier of capital, means are the people who are investing, These are the components of a business plan. Okay, you have the introduction page, then you have the executive summary, industrial analysis, you analyze about the industry, then what is his business all about? Okay, what's the product, what's the service, the size of the business, then your production. If you're in the productive producing something, you talk about the production, how you manufacture it, where you get the supply, operation, how you want to make the operation, most lean and faster. And then the marketing plan, how you want to market this particular product. Organization, how are different people in the organization going to work, how the marketing team is going to work, how the administration team is going to work, and contingency plan, what are the things if let's say a problem happens, and the financial plan, appendix. So this is normally the 10 or 11 parts of a business plan. So if let's say, for example, if you want to start a business, Vanilla, you need to come up with a business plan, right? You need to come up with a business plan. You drop a business plan, you'll be able to, know when it's successful. See, when I did my MBA, I learned one of the key things that I learned is doing business plans. And it helped me because after that, I started making money. I go to any friend or business or one, and they are struggling because they say the bank is asked for business plans. I thought, what, I say, okay, give me, you pay me 1,000, I do a business plan for you. I do about 20, 30 pages worth of business plan for him. I get money from it. So once you study a business plan, you can actually help people to develop their own business plan. So one of the key things you learn from entrepreneurship is how to do a business plan. Once you learn this, you can do it for your own business also. You can do it for somebody else, your friend's business. Also, you can develop a business plan and maybe ask him for a payment for doing that. This is where you become a consultant, for your particular industry by doing business plan. All right. So these are the components of a business plan. Okay. Right. All these are parts of it. Marketing plan, is a part of it. Organizational plan, the risk. You're looking at the risk. There's one part on what are the risks, right? Competitive reaction, weakness, the production, weakness in management. You in a business plan, you also got to talk about how things can go south, which means how things can go not according to plan. What are the problems that can happen? You can also look at that, all right? And appendix part of it. Okay, so I want you to read through why do business plan fail? Sometimes you can write a fantastic business plan, but the end of it, it's a failure. Why? Goals that you set is not reasonable. Second, you cannot measure it. If you say, oh, I want to be successful. What do you mean with successful? You cannot measure that, Third is you're not committed to it, You're not committed to the plan. You do the plan, but then you're not committed to it. Okay? No experience. You got no experience. Remember, you must be something that you are passionate about. And it must be something that you like to do. Remember in the first chapter, we looked at it, an entrepreneur need to have something that, fit his own character, fit his own this thing, and you need to have no sense of potential threat. I mean, you just simply go in, never look at who is the competitor, what are the threats that can happen. You never do all your Buddha spy forces. They never really analyze completely. And finally, no customer need was established. I mean, you have an idea, fantastic, but no customer. It is not there, right? Okay, in this chapter, we looked at what is a business plan, what is scope and value of a business plan, and who needs a business plan, and what are the elements of the business plan. Remember the 11 elements of the business plan, and we looked at why some business plans fail. So we will stop here, and tomorrow we will have the same session again. Now, what I want you to do is send me today your assignments that you did for the last semester. Not last semester, for the last class. Okay, whatever you have done, Rajinder, you just send Raj. You just send in.
I will send it to you by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, good. Tomorrow morning, good. All right. Okay. Tomorrow morning, you send it to me. So I read through it, and so we can spend a little bit of time. I give you a little bit of briefing. I'll go through and make some changes, so then we can discuss about it, rather than this thing. Okay. So tomorrow we will cover the next few chapters. Okay, this is the chapters that we will cover tomorrow. Okay, creativity, business financing, and evaluation and growth. These are quite fast. Maybe in another 1 hour I should be able to cover these chapters, right? And then we spend the time going through the balance, a little bit of time going through your assignments that you have done, and then we'll go through the new assignment for this particular subject. And if we have time some more, we will go through the past year questions. If I can get hold of the past year questions, it will be good. Okay. If not, we will cover that in the revision part. Now, the past year question we can cover in the revision.
Will we be getting our assignment tomorrow then?
I'll WhatsApp you the assignment. You haven't got download the assignment yet,
I not yet,
Okay. What I'll do is
PLS,
it's in the PLS actually. It is a PLS. Okay. I'll download it from the PLS But it's okay. Okay. What I'll do is after today's session is over, I will listen to you. I'll forward it to you in the so you can go through the thing. So tomorrow we will know. We'll discuss that. All that. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Any question, Manjit? Is she there? Poor thing. I can't see her. Is something wrong with the connection or what? I can't even see her. I think she's listening to us. Her mic is okay. So Manjit, if you're hearing me, so please send me whatever you've done for your assignment so I can modify it, and we discuss this tomorrow in the class. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks.